Easy money like a layup, pussy. You owe some paper, you gotta pay up right now. You niggas sleep, but I'ma stay up. Nigga, shake up. I say run into that bank, bro, no pay cuts. Money, easy money like a layup. Yeah. You owe some paper, you gotta pay up right now. You niggas sleep, but I'ma stay up. Saving all my paper, I need a fortune. Money. Raised by them hustlers and them killers, no for extortion. Yeah, they're
almost forgot I was finna. But the Supreme, Supreme, you been drinking, I'm trying to catch up to you.
You can't. You'll never get
it. Lion blood, nigga. Yeah, nigga. Huh?
Yeah, been on phone.
Yeah. Shank up, we up. I say run into that bank, bro, no pay cuts. Easy money like a...
Oh my God. You learn them too? Crazy.
Lion blood, nigga. Yeah, nigga. Huh?
They showing up.
Hey, check this out, man. We live on the motherfucking Shank Show where we get paper and stay low. Hey, man, say, man, I got my family in here with me tonight, man. Hey, listen, every time the Shank Show go live, we live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. So go to any of them sites, tune in live. All right, the comment section is open. You can drop your comment. We talk back. First and foremost, we got the motherfucking infamous only Crip on the east side holding it down in a blood neighborhood his whole life. That nigga respect him like he a big B because he a big C. And my nigga 41 Shice in the motherfucking building. What's happening, nigga?
What's that word? Shout out to you, my boy.
I appreciate you for being here, Shiesty. Next, we got my blood cousin in the motherfucking building. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the sickest rapper. Fuck Eminem. If you ain't heard Sick Rick back in the day, we fucking over Eminem. But you know how we was too busy in the streets and doing dumb shit. But my baby Sick Rick, one of the best MCs around, very artistic. My cousin, we done been all type of shit, police chases, all type of shit. You hear me? My cousin D Letterman, Sick Rick in the motherfucking building. What's happening? You in the Matrix. You in the Matrix.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
What's good, cuzzo, man?
It's all good, man. I appreciate you for being here, man.
I ain't gonna take all the credit for that police chase. You was in the passenger seat telling me which way to go.
Hey, when listen, when they pulled us out the car, Shiesty, listen. They pull us out the car, right? Rich got a do-rag on and shit. It's a woman and a nigga. The woman, she on tip. No. The nigga, he on tip. The woman just kind of cool. So Richie, he tell the bitch, damn, baby, you thick than a motherfucker. Man, why he say that? Why he tell that police officer she was thick than a motherfucker? Is that what you told her, Rich?
Yeah, something like that.
He said something. He say, hey, Shiesty, yeah. We done ran from these motherfuckers. They done called us, cornered us in the alley. Take us out the car. We on the hands on the thing. He tell the bitch, the female officer, damn, bitch, you thick as hell. Man, they ripped that nigga do-rag off. Nigga, get you. Oh, you think this shit a game.
Let me ask you all this. It's like 01, 02, ain't it?
Man, that's probably, man.
Yeah, this was 01, 02.
Yeah,
bro.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The do-rag, that's when I'm like, it gotta be 01, 02 off that do-rag.
Off that do-rag, yeah. No, that's facts.
Yeah.
They took us right to jail, nigga. He shouldn't said that shit.
What precinct y'all go to?
We was on like 7 Mile, West Side 7 Mile. We was racing the nigga. And
like Southfield, 7 Mile West?
Something like that, y'all.
Yeah. They transferred me downtown.
Yeah, they took his ass downtown.
Yeah. Hey, send my wife a link. She want to get in.
I said, is it 24 or 25?
It's 25, right? Yeah, 25.
I sent it. See, ask her if she got it.
Check your email. Bless.
Thank you.
Shank, send me that fucking song.
Which one?
Gary Payton 2, I can't find it. I'm about to put that on my next album.
You can't. The shit is already released on fucking United Masters.
All right, I'm on it. I can still put it on.
That boy crazy as dog shit, man. What's wrong with dog?
That ain't how that goes?
No, bro. How you gonna double put out the same song?
Why I can't? I'm on the songs.
I don't know. We had to talk some business, man.
Man, ain't no. That's not even your song to put out. What's this crazy?
How it ain't my song?
Bro, it's not.
Stop playing shite. Now you know, don't start this shit, bro. Every time we do a song, you think it's your song, bro. How as the fuck is this your bro? You got all you bro, you got all the songs, bro.
Because they was mine.
Oh my god.
Name a song that wasn't mine and I put it out, so that you on with.
I gotta think about it, but it's
because it ain't mine.
It's
every song that I put out, even Swear to God, that's my song. Picture Me Rolling, that's my song.
Yeah.
First Gary Payton is my song. What you mean?
It's some songs I was like, go ahead. You was like, let me put that out. I was like, go ahead, Shiesty, you got it.
It sounds good. It sounds good.
Cut it out. Hey, let me introduce my motherfucking sister to the fucking Shank Show. Shice, wife, and a motherfucking building. Big T, what's happening, baby?
What's going on, bro?
Hey, man.
Thanks for being here.
You
Thanks
know
for welcoming me.
I see you blowing it down. Hey, look, she blowing it down. Hey, she blowing it down in true Krug gang fashion. I see you, sis.
For sure, bro.
You know how we do. Hey, we gotta blow it down. That's how. Listen, I don't even smoke with Shice. I can't smoke with him. He can smoke me on this motherfucking table. I smoke little ass Rellos. He wanna roll. He wanna put a 3-5 in a backwood. I just think I be high already by 3, 4, 5 hits. I'm high, bro. What is we doing? How high we getting? All right. Hey, look. I want to ask all y'all about this YNW Melly case. This is a crazy motherfucking case going on right now. Dog fighting for his life because they gonna get dog to death penalty. Florida is fucked up. Florida fucked up. They be waiting to get there. And a nigga like him, and he's steady in court playing this shit, smiling, laughing, and playing. All right. Now listen. As we was talking off camera, he's alleged to kill his 2 best friends, leaving a recording studio in the middle of the night in the same car. Shot them both in the same car. I kind of find that hard to believe with his little ass, because I'm like, who he shoot first? I'm just thinking logical, right? Like they say I'm saying, look, they say the front passenger was asleep, and then the next to him was up. Sack chaser was up, right?
That's who he shot first.
So he shot dog first, then he shot. He would have woke up when he heard the gunshot.
He ain't missed.
Yeah, he ain't missed. You right. Yeah. But
right here.
All the forensics say they tried to basically they tried to make a crime scene saying that they got a drive-by shooting happened to them is how they died. But the forensics, they say that's cap because we know the deadly shots came from inside the car. Right? They proved this through forensics. So you muted, Shice.
So there ain't no disputing that.
Ain't no disputing that. The forensics, man, we live in a world where we got a lot of technology.
But then it comes down to
what they can prove.
I witnessed that driver ain't never gonna say he did it.
I'm glad you said that, Shice. Now listen, think about this though. His statement is that Melly wasn't there. His statement is that some niggas drove by and shot at them, and he drove to the hospital. They say that's a lie. They say
keep that up, they could possibly win.
Okay, let me ask you this.
All his attorneys, the defense gotta prove that he wasn't there. Fuck all this. If I was there and the drive-by didn't happen or whatever, I wasn't there for whatever happened. If they can prove that.
Okay, now listen. if they let's say this, let's say they can't prove Melly guilty, right? And he walked. So what's not because they trying them separate.
I ain't saying he gonna walk. He ain't gonna get the death penalty.
Okay, but wait. Say he walked though. Let's say they ain't got enough evidence.
Get out free.
Right.
Free.
He get home free. Just say he do. What's gonna happen? Excuse me. What's gonna happen to Bortland, the co-defendant? Because they already know he was with the bodies.
The driver couldn't have shot both of them drivers.
That's a good point.
For instance, man, he ain't even really in no hot water. He accessory to murder or however it would play out at the end once they figure it out. But that's on the prosecutor's job to figure that out. Like whether Melly was in the car when the shit happened or not, Dog was driving the whole time, so he ain't getting out of it. But he got to tell on Dog if they don't got no eyewitness, and the eyewitness said he not even with us. What's the prosecutor's defense on that?
Well,
how can they put him in the car other than the footage of them leaving from the studio?
The phone.
That shit happened 5-6 hours after they leave from that footage.
The phone. Listen, they got the phone in the area where they found glass and shit, right?
They got Melly phone there.
They got Melly phone there. They got all them niggas phone there, right?
They done.
They just connected Melly to the phone by messages he was having with his mama, cussing her out, calling her all type of bitches. He was real disrespectful to his mama, and that the jury heard that. You feel me?
I mean, his mama really was fucking the friend.
Probably so. You feel me?
If he talking to his mama like that, she fucking his friend for sure.
Mm-hmm. Nah. What the defense is saying is that this phone was used by multiple people. That don't mean he was there in the car.
Mm-hmm.
He could have got out before then.
That's a good argument too. I got 4-5 phones. I'll leave all them bitches.
Right. Now listen, they don't have no. They just found Melly DNA even in the car like just last month after 5 years. They never had his DNA in the car. Right? They don't have a murder weapon. Right? Nobody is eyewitnessing saying they seen Melly in that car besides the video footage of him getting in it and them leaving the studio. All this shit is circumstantial. Now we know niggas get convicted off circumstantial evidence, but he got a good ass lawyer team, defense team, and they working their ass off to prove reasonable doubt. Cause murder is reasonable doubt. See, you gotta say yes he did that for that. You feel me? Can't be no question in it. So what's up, Timo? Hey, let me. Can you hear me, Timo?
Mic check 1 2 3.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, man. Let me introduce Timo Supreme to the motherfucking Shank Show, where we get paper, stay low. Hey, man, say, man, Tim in the motherfucking building. Hey, Tim, look, we just kind of going over this YNW Melly case. He's a famous rapper from Florida that's on trial for killing 2 of his friends. I don't know if you've been watching it or covering it, but I will play a little video here soon from DJ motherfucking Academics. And it'll kind of bring you abreast on what's going on currently. Have you heard of this case, though?
Just a little bit, not much.
So basically, just a little short recap. He's on trial for killing 2 of his best friends in the car, leaving the studio. The defense is saying he was out of the car when the murder happened. The prosecution is saying that they staged the crime scene where the 2 friends were already dead, and they tried to make it look like it was a drive-by. From forensics and data and shit that they did, they seen that the fatal shots came from inside the car, and they were dead before the shots came from the outside of the car. So they saying these people staged this, the 2 co-defendants, right? None of them are taking blame for it. The driver, which is Melly's co-defendant, and also was a part of his group, said that it was a drive-by, and then he drove his 2 friends to the hospital. But they said that he more than likely, he drove around for about an hour before bringing them to the hospital. So a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of circumstantial shit. They don't have a murder weapon. They don't have nothing definite. have a lot of circumstantial evidence. So we were just going over there because he's fighting for his life. If he gets convicted of this shit, he very well likely can get the death penalty because how heinous the crime was. One of his friends was asleep. He killed, if this is true, he killed both of them in the car. And then for one of those dead friends, he dressed them at the funeral. And so they're going to look at him like a monster if he do get convicted. So let's listen to a little bit of this video, man. I'm going to cue it up real quick.
All right.
Let me make this a little smaller here. Okay, let's see.
Double donation, by the way. All right. By the way, you guys can go check their interviews out with whatever adult entertainers you want, and also again they have the one with Jason Love.
Can you guys hear this clear?
What do you think YNW Melly's last meal is gonna be? Now, guys, as we're gonna get back to this, this is gonna I'm gonna let this play for about 5 minutes or so. What we're gonna see is the supposedly damning text, and I guess that's how the state's trying to put a bow on its, presenting his case by saying Melly confessed. Melly's gonna say something later, which he's gonna say, "I did that," and they're gonna say that's the confession. That's why they're showing all these texts at the moment. Keep in mind this is a death penalty case. If Melly does not beat this case, given the fact that it already.
Can everybody hear it clear?
A little bit.
Yeah, I can hear it clear as well.
It seems very gruesome.
It's a little low.
Doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason why somebody would kill their two best friends. Also, when it comes to sentencing, and you're gonna hear that father who wanted to come on here. If Melly, again, not wishing, goes either way, but if Melly gets found guilty, imagine the parents of the people who died then testifying to the jury and say, "Yo, y'all gotta give this guy death. Yo, he helped dress the people he killed." Allegedly, according to the father, Melly dressed the guy for his funeral. That if I'm a jury member, that's sick. If you killed a nigga and you acted like you ain't kill him because that's your friend and you dressed him for his funeral, I'm giving you death. That's what I would do. And again, I'm saying this subjectively, but you have to think about what you would do. By the way, we don't know if he's guilty or innocent. But if he's found guilty, the sentencing portion.
Hold the motherfucking press. Hold the motherfucking press. We got Big Bro in the motherfucking building. 2 Tons. What's happening? You muted up 2 Tons.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. We live on the motherfucking Shank Show. We get paper, stay low. What's happening, bro?
Hey, I can't call. It's a pleasure to be here, as always.
Appreciate you for being here, man. We was just recapping the YNW Melly trial. I don't know if you hip to it, but he is on trial facing the death penalty for killing 2 of his friends. He was a artist that was pretty famous, man. He had some hit songs. He got hundreds of millions of views. And he had some sick ass songs though. He had a song called "Murder on My Mind," and yeah. So, but we were listening to a video right now of a recap by DJ motherfucking Academics. So just kind of listen in, Tons. All right?
Okay, I sure will.
All right.
It's gonna be a whole different situation because when you hear people start giving their fucking testimony about what you know what I mean, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Okay, anyway, let me keep playing this a little bit. All right, imagine killing a nigga and then picking out the outfit.
Let me let Tons hear that
Melly
from the beginning.
confessed. Melly's
Listen
gonna
to
say
this,
something
Tons.
later, which he's gonna say, "I did that." And they're gonna say that's the confession. That's why they're showing all these texts at the moment. Keep in mind this is a death penalty case. If Melly does not beat this case, given the fact that it already seems psychopathic, it seems very gruesome, cold-blooded. Doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason why somebody would kill their two best friends. Also, when it comes to sentencing, you're gonna hear that father who wanted to come on here. If Melly, again, not wishing, goes either way, but if Melly gets found guilty, like imagine the parents of the people who died, then testifying to the jury and say, "Yo, y'all gotta give this guy death. Yo, he helped dress the people he killed. Allegedly, according to the father, Melly dressed the guy for his funeral. That if I'm a jury member, that's sick. If you killed a nigga and you acted like you ain't kill him because that's your friend and you dressed him for his funeral, I'm giving you death. That's what I would do. And again, I'm saying this like subjectively, but you have to think about what you would do. By the way, we don't know if he's guilty or innocent. But if he's found guilty, the sentencing portion is going to be a whole different situation, because when you hear people like start giving their fucking testimony about what the fuck, you know what I mean? It's going to be crazy, okay? Anyway, let me keep playing this a little bit, all right? Imagine killing a nigga and then picking out the outfit he wears at the funeral. Give me a second on that. I'm gonna do some research on that, because I do know the jury votes. They vote death penalty as well when they give the guilty verdict. So they vote death penalty, but I don't think they actually issue the sentence. They just vote if it's eligible for the death penalty. I want to make sure about that. The judge still has to take that up, and they still go through a sentencing procedure where people, usually the family, usually friends, usually people write letters that will be taken into consideration, and the judge makes that determination, okay? But the only thing that, but they usually lean to the death penalty if the jurors say it's on the table, all right? Anyway, let's keep on.
Going to the next message.
Hey, hold on.
The response.
By the way, let me correct DJ Academics on something that he wrong about. The law in Florida is that they just changed it. The Governor Santos just changed it. It's I think it's an 8-4. So it's 12 jurors. If 8 of them say death penalty, that's what they're going with. It used to be, I want to say 10, or it had to be 10, I think, or something like that. But now it's 8-4. So they have lessened the the criteria for you to get the death penalty. All right.
And who is that from?
It is from the account of YW Melly, and it is to J. King RN.
And what is the content of that message?
I'm good, Bob.
Continuing down the next message in that thread, October 26, 2018, 11:26:31 UTC. Who is the author?
The author is J. King RN.
And what is the text of the message?
I love you.
And who is it sent to?
YW Melly.
Continuing on page 75,936 for defense counsel. And at the top of the page, the message of October 26, 2018, 11:26:38 UTC.
The message is, love you too.
And who is that from?
YW Melly to J. King RN.
So the response message, October 26, 2018, 11:26:58 UTC. What does the message say?
I need to find a hospital near you.
And who is that going to?
J. King RN.
By the way, y'all, this is the prosecution basically proving that that's Melly's phone. One of the main pieces of evidence they have, because they got a lot of circumstantial evidence, they don't have an eyewitness, they don't have a murder weapon. So they're trying to pin this phone on Melly because that phone was in the vehicle, and they traced the phone around the murder scene, and leaving and they say he dropped a pin to Fredo Bang, another famous rapper, to come pick him up after the murder. So they're trying to pin that to him. Defense is saying, man, that's not the people, all type of people use that phone in this camp. So this is what they're attempting to do is lock him into that phone and that number so they can prove it's his, to prove his steps, right? But Tons, I want to ask you something real quick because you have experience with like murder cases, right? Being that murder has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, if they have a mostly circumstantial evidence and nothing that really says he did it, it looks bad for him because it's almost like they got him getting in the car from the studio. They got him getting in the back driver's seat. They got Sack Chaser, one of the niggas who died, getting in the back passenger seat. They got the other nigga who died getting in the front passenger seat and the co-defendant driving. And then this happened. Then they got this phone that they're tracing that was around the scene and end up leaving. So this is the type of shit that they have. Do you think that with that, what they have, and this is another thing, Sons, I want to tell you. So they know that they staged the drive-by because they know that the bullets that killed both of these people came from the inside of the car. When the co-defendant took the car to the hospital, he said that they were involved in the drive-by. Somebody came and drove by and shot in their car and killed them. But the forensic says that they were killed inside the car and were already dead, and then somebody shot from the outside of the car where they were already dead. So with this,
okay, so all of these guys get into a car, and the deceased was in the vehicle as well, and they pulled off.
Yep. Two deceased.
So they have evidence of that.
Yep. They got video of them all getting in the same car and driving off.
And they have evidence that that the car was not, that he didn't die. He died from a close range shot inside the car.
Absolutely. And on top of that, the bullets that entered the body from the outside of the car, there were no stippling, meaning that they were dead, no blood running through the veins, running through the body.
Oh, so he was already shot, and then they just shot the car up, or allegedly.
Allegedly, right?
Okay, was the ballistics the same as the one that was the close range?
Well, they don't have. So I don't.
Probably not gonna.
I don't think they have that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, they don't have that.
Well, that's going to be a factor. Was it the same gun that was used? And then if it was, it could have been an accidental shooting with him trying to shoot back, and he might have got hit shooting back. You know, it's circumstantial. You know, but the thing is, I hate to say it, but a lot of people go down for circumstantial cases all the time.
That's what I said for you came on here. That's right.
So it really is going to boil down to which story is the best story, and if anybody that was in the vehicle, if they testify, whatever that testimony is, would be considered evidence in the case for them to draw their conclusions on, you know. And then somebody may not, if they accidentally shot him trying to shoot back and retaliate, you know, they may not want to say that, you know,
because that's going to give them a life sentence anyway.
Because that's gonna well, not necessarily, because then they might, you know, it's an accidental shooting. It wouldn't be considered aiding and abetting of killing him. And then, you know, if it depends on all the circumstances of the case. Where were they going? Were they involved in a crime?
Let me give you a little more backdrop, okay?
Okay.
The prosecution is painting a picture about a motive because the defense came out and said he had no reason to kill his friends, right?
Right.
So the prosecution is saying it could be, they gave like 3 different scenarios. They said one was they were selling off a portion of the YNW brand that they had created together, and they were all going to get money. Melly was going to get the most because he was the hot artist. Sack Chaser was going to get 250, which is one of the deceased, and Juvie was going to get 250, which is one of the deceased. The prosecution is trying to say he didn't want them, he wanted all the money. That's one scenario.
Okay.
Second scenario is they say that the sack chaser guy was more in the streets. He was more of a street guy. He was more respected. So he bullied Melly to a certain degree. They said one time he even punched Melly and knocked his grill out of his mouth in front of Melly's girlfriend. Right?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So that's another scenario that painted that sack chaser was bullying them. The other one is that they had text message between sack chaser and Melly mom, where sack chaser threatened her. They threatened each other. They were getting into it, having some bad blood. Some people say that they were having intimate relationships, but that's neither nor here nor there. But we know that they did have some disagreements. So they saying that maybe Melly did this for one of those three reasons, right? But we all know, is that enough to kill your friends? Like, you gotta be a fucked up motherfucker. You just stop fucking with them, or I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right. I mean, if he's threatening his mother.
Yeah, that's right. And so this is the thing. The most vital evidence they have is the cell phone, right? Because the cell phone tracks him from the studio, tracks him dropping the pen after the murder for Fredo Bang, another well-known rapper, to pick him up. And they're now trying to attach what we're listening to it now. They're trying to attach that phone to him by all means necessary, because this is basically probably one of the
to pick him up. So okay, so the police were called.
No, Bortland, the co-defendant, drove the car to the hospital, and when he got there, he said somebody drove by and shot at us. But when they did the forensics, they knew that he had drove around for an hour. The bodies was dead for an hour before he got to the hospital. And they split their trial. They split their trials too. They split their trials.
Maybe they panicked.
Right.
Didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then somebody probably said, "You need to go to the hospital." Well, if they're going for an hour.
But that's traumatic, Tons. You right though. That's traumatic.
So the kill. So was he shot in the head?
Yeah. The two people in the car were shot from inside the car, both in the head.
Both in the head.
Then later on, once they were dead, they were shot multiple times from outside the car. So that's why they say they staged it.
Oh, so they waited. So it was some time that passed, and then they shot the car up.
Right. And then
the car was trying to figure out what to do.
Right. Probably. Yeah.
I mean, just, allegedly. We're not trying to say the guys are guilty of anything. We're just kind of throwing all the options out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just I want you to give me an answer on this question. I'm gonna keep playing the video.
Okay.
Do you think that is enough to convict somebody with what you know right now with just what I told you? Do you think that's enough to convict him and give him the death penalty, because that's what he's facing?
Well, it's going to depend on the circumstances. I mean, we understand that, these gentlemen were in the car together. The close range shots to the head to both of them. Then sometime later, the car was shot up. It's not really looking good on that part. That's a storyline. So it depends on the storyline that the defense is going to put together, is what's going to determine which story is going to be the best story for the because if they go on with the jury trial, it won't be based upon the facts. It'll be it's based upon the facts.
Well, hold on. Wait. They're currently in the trial. They're probably toward. They say the trial might end maybe like sometime in August, late August, but they're currently in the trial, and the prosecution is pleading their case. They've been doing it for about 18 to 17 days, some shit like that. But it's a jury trial, right?
It's a jury, right?
It's a jury trial.
Jury trial. A lot of those juries are going to base their facts on their own, emotional, personal standpoint. But if they have a bench trial, then it will be based solely on the facts. So it might be beneficial to have a jury trial in this particular kind of case. But the defense attorney is going to have to
make a good case,
really paint a compelling story.
Mind you, too. He got the best defense team money can buy right now.
Right. But yeah.
They doing all they can. But let me tell you this too. I've been watching the trial closely. And they've been every time the prosecutor try to make a point, they object. Can we approach the bench? Object.
Right. The objections are good for the appeal if they lose. So they're going to object a lot in these particular type of cases because of the circumstantial evidence being so compelling.
Right.
Now, there's people that have been convicted for less. Like, for instance, this one case where these two guys had a spot, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys was in the spot. The other guy was gone. So the guy that was inside the spot was talking to the worker, and he was joking with him, pulled out his gun and said, man, hit you in the head with this gun or whatever. He was joking with him and said, man, you don't pull no gun out on me like this. And they got into an altercation. The gun went off and shot one of the customers right in the heart. Killed him instantly. Okay? The other partner that owned the spot pulled up. He didn't know what was going on. When he got out the car, he heard a shot. Bow, bow. He heard like 2 shots. And he's like, what the hell is going on? So he ducked down. And as soon as he tried to grab the door handle to open the door swung open. He gets shot 3 times. And then he was drugged to his car and then dropped off at the hospital. And so he wakes up in the hospital from a coma, handcuffed to the bed, like, what's going on? Why, And then they also had a witness who were coming from Bible study or something like that, and they were driving up the street, and they saw the guy walk up to the door and heard shots, and they seen him fall down, and he got put in the car and drove off. And that guy still got 30 to 50, and he didn't even know what was going on in there until later. You see what I'm saying? So it really depends. And then you had another story of this one guy who told another guy, shoot that piece of shit. He pulls the gun out, shot, was shooting at the guy. He was running, and some neighbor was looking in there, an enclosed porch, and was looking out, trying to see what was going on, and got a stray bullet to the head. So you had a courtroom with about 12 witnesses saying that this guy said, shoot that piece of shit. And he pulled a gun out, started shooting. The other person got hit with a stray bullet that didn't have anything to do with it. And the only person that got time in that case was the person that tried to turn state's evidence. Everybody, they got found not guilty on the case. And they had, like, there were so many witnesses in the courtroom saying that he did it. And the only one that got convicted was the one that snitched.
Wow.
So, it can go, it's so funny, man. It's so weird. You never know how it's going to go. The defense is really going to have to make a compelling story of, against the circumstantial evidence that the prosecution has. They really have to tear it apart. They have to dismantle the fact that this person may have had some issues with this guy and his mother or whatever. They got to shoot holes in that. All of that is circumstantial and hearsay, so it might not even be admissible. Then you got to see what's going to be admissible and what's not going to be admissible in the court. And then as they get into the meat of it, then we'll be able to kind of, if they allow the media to, to discover what's going on inside the courtroom, and I assume they are, because you're playing the thing now, then we can kind of get a better understanding. Okay, let's
finish listening to this interview, because it's going to give us some more insight. And I want everybody to kind of listen and kind of develop, your own opinion on it, and then we'll go around to everybody. Check it out.
Author recipient is blind as Melly.
Fair use.
The response from YNW Melly, 10/26/2018, 11:35:59 UTC.
The message is, I don't want to go.
So, Detective Marty, I want to take a break from the Instagram for a second. We'll come back to that one. During the course of the investigation, did you author a number of search warrants?
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately how many search warrants do you think you authored?
Well over 40, ma'am.
Okay. Did those include search warrants for the Instagram social media of Portland Henry?
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately how many of those were done for Portland Henry?
We did one for Portland Henry's Instagram account, one for his Gmail account, and one for a phone number associated with him.
Were there any indications in those social media accounts or anything else that he was using the YNW Melly account?
No, ma'am, none whatsoever.
Were there any indications that Mr. Henry or anyone else was saying contact or was talking about any indications of using the 90 or 7 phone number?
No, ma'am.
We talked briefly about some of the financials when we were on the stand a couple of days ago. During the course of this investigation, did you author subpoenas to get all of those financial records?
Yes, ma'am.
In the total amount of money and the time frame, if you could explain how much money was coming into these accounts?
The total coming in, and I done the subpoena started from I think right around March to for the Sun Trust, which is Truist now. So it'll be March, April, May.
Do we have the account number? Thank you.
So, Detective Murray, in terms of you talked about the Sun Trust account.
Yes, the Sun Trust account was in the name. I don't know the last four of the account number, but the account was in the name of Jameson Francois. Jameson Francois.
And in terms of the business account for Jameson Francois, were some of the beneficiary or payouts of that to Jamel Devins?
Yes, ma'am.
The total amount of money that went in to the Sun Trust account as well as the Chase account.
Yes, ma'am.
About how much money went in?
Total amount to those two accounts for a 30-month period was about $16 million.
How much?
$16 million.
16?
16.
You know, Pocket Watcher Axo is on the case. I might have missed something. They said 16 million went in. Well, hold on, listen again. We gotta make sure. You know, I'm up in everybody's pockets. Fuck that.
Thank you.
So, Detective Murray, in terms of you talked about the Sun Trust account.
Yes, the Sun Trust account was in the name. I don't know the last four of the account number, but the account was in the name of Jameson Francois.
That's a 100K track. Now, here's the thing, and I gotta make it very, very clear. 100K track, who, by the way, I will openly state, he's a friend of mine. Those teeth, the fronts, I got these diamond teeth. He custom made that for me. He paid $25,000 for it. That's my guy. I interviewed him. He has a label. You know, he knows he can get on my podcast at any time. But if you're wondering where or how he fits in the music industry, he's most notable for managing King Von.
Wait, hold the fuck on. Hold the fucking press. We live on the motherfucking Shank Show where we get paper and stay low. Amen. Say, man, we got the beautiful Mandy Savage in the building. What's happening?
What's good?
Mandy, we've been looking for you.
Man, I've been in the gutter. I tore my Achilles tendon again, the second one. I tore my right one. I tore my left one 20 years ago. I tore my right one May 21st.
Okay.
What's up, beautiful Mandy?
What's good? What's good? I'm over here getting fit. I had surgery and everything.
You know what? I feel your pain, Mandy. I just had right rotator cuff surgery May 8th. So I'm recovering too, baby. Yeah, I feel your pain. Yeah. I'm going through physical therapy. Yeah, I know.
Mandy, how's it going?
Good. How's everybody?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Nice seeing everybody.
So Mandy, I don't know if have you been following the YNW Melly trial?
I'm not like watching it. I've been hearing shit here and there, but not following it like crazy.
All right, so that's what we're talking about right now. We're watching the video via DJ fucking Academics, where he kind of breaking down the actual in-court shit that's been going on currently. But as you know, he's on trial for a double murder. He's facing the death penalty. They say he killed his two best friends in a vehicle. But they don't have a murder weapon. They don't have an eyewitness. All they have is circumstantial forensic type of evidence and phone records and shit like that. So we're trying to give our opinion on whether he's going to get this death penalty or walk free. Some people think he's going to walk free. They don't have enough evidence because you have to prove murder beyond a reasonable doubt. And some people think they're going to string dog up his little 110 weighing ass. Okay, because if he go to jail for life, he going to be somebody's bitch. All this money going to run out. So the nigga...
Right, they have to meet all of the elements for whichever... whatever they're charging them with, whatever, because there's all different types of murder charges. Yeah, first degree, second.
He has first degree premeditated murder.
Okay, so he has to meet all the elements of that.
Yeah.
So he has to show that it was premeditated and that the act actually carried out. So, I mean, they have to meet all the elements, but they're a lot of these guys are good at what they do. It's just going to depend on, how good his defense is with their story. The prosecution is going to come with a story.
So look, this is what we're going to do, because I want you to expound on that a little more to us, but I want to give everybody a chance to listen to this video. Mandy, basically what we've been listening to is the prosecution trying to tie Melly to that phone, because that's a big part of their case, is that cell phone that they tracked for leaving the studio, going around to where the crime scene was, and leaving the crime scene. So they trying to pin that phone on him by all means. So,
and it was a burner?
It was in their name. They had a plan with like a lot of phones on it.
Okay.
But the defense is saying many people use that phone. He's an artist, got managers and his boys, and they, so
yeah.
They're trying to put a little reasonable doubt in there, which they're doing a pretty decent job. But let's finish listening to the video, then we all respond.
All right, but
he got shot at the same time King Von got killed, and he managed YNW Melly. He managed a bunch of other artists too, but those are the two big ones. So when we hear whatever money that's in this account, which I love the pocket watch, he's managing King Von and he's managing Melly. You get what I mean? This is the manager.
Jameson Francois.
And in terms of the business account for Jameson.
By the way, I keep telling y'all keep trying to be the rappers. Be a manager. Catch two of these niggas who kind of hot, and you could have like 5 other niggas you manage and get a little team. The artists over here flexing and doing all that shit. You really collecting the bread.
Were some of the beneficiary payouts of that to Jamel Devins?
Yes, ma'am.
The total amount of money that went in to the SunTrust account as well as the Chase account.
Yes, ma'am.
About how much money went in?
Total amount for those 2 accounts for a 30-month period was about
30 months. So 30 months, let me do it. So that's 2 years. Let's see how much.
$16 million. How much?
$16 million. Holy.
16 million. 16?
Now, here's the thing too. Let's not also mix up King Von money in there. This looked like it was a payout account. So let me tell you, I'm giving you a little bit of business of how sometimes music managers work. I learned this from Wayno, salute to Wayno. What managers and even booking agents at times hate to do is to have the artist get paid directly, and then you have to run behind the artist who's, as soon as they see something in their account, they're blowing it. You have to run behind them to get money. So usually in most management contracts, they'll say, anything payable to the artist I manage, you pay to me, and I'll pay to them minus my cut. Does that make sense? Right? So for example, say Melly, we're going to take Von out of it because you would have a different account for whatever. Or it could be the same account, but you have to have an extreme, really good accountant if it's multiple artists, right? Say 60 million came into the account. That was for Melly. He would take his cut, which, let's do a calculator real quick. You know me, pocket watching that. Ain't nobody better than pocket watching that now. All right, here we go. Let's see. So 16 million, right here. Managers usually get about 20%, right? Times 0.2. So he would have gotten about $3.2 million, right? That's the manager from Melly, right? Now, how much does Melly get? So he would send the rest of the money. So again, a lot of times, managers, or especially he had this group, 100K management company, say 60 million was paid from the record label. That comes into the manager's shit. They take out their 3.2, and then they send the rest to Melly. So 16 million minus 3.2 means Melly would have got 12.8, but it's more complicated than that. Usually there's at least about 5%, the 5 or 10 more percent that you have to allocate via entertainment lawyer and also business manager. So usually people only go away with about 70% of the money. And that's pretty decent and standard thing. So if it was $60 million times, let's say, 0.7 of that would be, so out of the 60 million, Melly probably got 11.2. Now, we don't know what the 30-month period is, right? Because all these subpoenas have been old. By the way, keep in mind, Melly's publishing and a lot of royalties come later on. So if you ask me, Melly has maybe made $40 to $50 million. But at the time when they ran this report, he made 16. The manager's going to get paid some. You're going to give some to your entertainment lawyer for negotiating these deals. You're going to also give it to your business manager. So at least at that time, Melly was probably entitled to get about $12 million or $11 million. Here I'm going to tell you how this is very important. Because of this payout, and now knowing how much that Melly probably inherited from his musical career, this puts the families that are deceased in an interesting position. Now you know. Usually they fight over this amount, right? People act like they broke in court all the time. Like, shit, I'll tell y'all niggas I got money on if I get in court, I'm broke now. You know what I mean? It's like Bow Wow. He's like, I don't get no money. Now that, because, you know, the investigator fucking, I don't even know how the bank gave this up like so fucking willingly, but I guess they tied it into the crime somehow that they got a subpoena to figure it out. This is what's going to happen. Melly, this amount of money right here, Melly's victims, allegedly, if he gets found guilty, they're going to sue to try to recover. We need that $11 million. You killed our sons. We need that 11 million, brother. Give us that 11 million. We need that 11 million now. And then they're going to push further to say Melly has probably made 3 times the amount of this since he's been locked up. Because what they say, dead rappers get better promotion, and when people locked up, people stream more. That's how it goes. So this amount of money at that time is probably compounded. The victims' families, they're 100% going to sue and use this information. And let's get back to it.
In terms of the swabs that were put into evidence previously from the Jeep, do you know on what date the swab of the interior passenger door for the rear driver's side, do you know what date that was collected on?
10/26/2018.
So you discussed briefly as well about looking at the car on October 26th of 2018, about there being...
By the way, to further crystallize, just kind of like give you a little hint. It's the same thing with 6ix9ine in that RICO case, right? So, like, you're gonna notice 6ix9ine's giving out $500,000 in bags to bitches, but when he's gonna go in court and say he's not making no money, you gotta play the game, right? You know what the game is? Yo, when you did all that, you know what I mean, Treyway shit, people got shot, people got injured, they're owed what would be compensation for all of the pain and hurt that you have caused, right? And the judge has to then assess how much money do you have or how much money you've made off of this, directly benefiting from it, that they could try to give those people money. Who's trying to pay up money? It's like Tasha K with Cardi B. So you know what 6ix9ine does? Well, I don't got no money. I'm not really getting no shows. You get what I mean? It's I don't want to get too deep into it, but artists start doing little interesting things just to show the court I don't make no money. All of a sudden, 6ix9ine is telling the court, hey, I got kids to feed. To be honest, my career is done. Like 6ix9ine said that in paperwork. He said that to the judge. My career is done because they say I'm a snitch. I can't make no more money. You think 6ix9ine not making no money? He just gave Annuel's baby mama like $1 million. You get what I mean? Like, but you gotta hide it from the court. That's just how it goes. You get what I mean? I would never do something like that, but these guys.
Damage to the car. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
You had asked you the next question as to, do you recall if there was a discussion as to how the car had been damaged previously?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had the opportunity to review the statement since that you took a court hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you now recall where that damage to the front hood supposedly occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was that?
In Atlanta, Georgia.
In terms of the statements or anything about the damage to the tires or the rims, did you ask the defendant, Mr. Henry, about those tires or rim damage in that statement? And if you don't recall...
Yeah, I don't recall this time.
So, with looking at a copy of that statement, refresh your record.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, looking in for defense counsel, page 6 of 13 of the transcript statement, and it's going to be this injury record to read that sentence yourself. Okay, Detective Marty, did Mr. Henry describe some sort of incident in which the Jeep ran into a median?
Yes, ma'am. According to his statement, that when the alleged drive-by occurred, he swerved and hit the median.
Okay, and did you notice any damage or anything consistent with that on that Jeep?
No, ma'am.
So, you mentioned you've done on a Facebook account on that. And so I'm not going to be showing what's been previously shown to defense counsel and marked as states that these couples are. So, at this point, the state would offer states in tuple R pursuant to 90.803 sub 6 as a business record.
Objection.
Objections on grounds previously raised.
So we'll do measures.
So, Detective Marty, we discussed the Facebook account on that.
Alright, I'm gonna go forward a little bit.
Was there a cell phone number that was associated with the Jamel Demons Facebook account?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that?
772-713-9807.
Okay. Publishing page 1. Detective Moretti, could you explain the line where it says date range?
The date range is where when we author the warrants, that's the date range to where we're requesting that the provider, which is Facebook, all of the data they have during that time frame.
Okay. And so what is the time frame that was covered under this particular search warrant?
10/1/2018 to 1/18/2019.
Okay. And what was the name of the account?
Jamel.Demons.
Demons, right?
Demons, my apologies.
Okay. In terms of the email addresses that are on there, on that account, are those some of the email addresses that we talked about previously?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On the registration date, September 19th, 2010, what is that?
That's the date that the account was created with Facebook.
Now the next thing is part of page 1 is listed as mobile devices. What are the mobile devices? Are a portion of the Facebook returns?
That's all the mobile devices that are connecting to the account.
And does this go back until the creation date?
It goes back to the date to where we authored the warrant.
So in terms of does some of this information go from the beginning of the account itself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the phone number you mentioned on there, and this is now on page 4. What phone number was verified on this account?
772-713-9807.
And going to the PayPal account, what was the email for the PayPal account that was associated with this Facebook account?
Melly Montana at iCloud.com.
And if you recall, what was the name of the Snapchat account that was previously introduced into evidence as State 7?
Melly Montana.
In terms of the IP law,
they're essentially kind of pretty much saying it's no way these accounts that utilize the same phone have all Melly's information. We've seen all Melly's pictures. They're talking as Melly. It's Melly. It's no way these phones do not belong to Melly. That's essentially what they're doing with all these technical shit. They're using Facebook records, Snapchat records. They're using records from all over the place that if you type something on your Instagram right now, what it does is captures a version of what device it came from, and it has like certain type of unique IDs that it can kind of distinguish. It captures an IP address, right? The first thing might be probably what was called network, like a MAC address, right? But it captures these really unique identifiers. But now she's even going above and beyond to show it's Melly's thing, to say, well, let's say, all right, it was that phone, but it's not Melly's phone. It was in somebody else's hand. They're showing Melly's PayPal is attached to it. Melly's PayPal is also seen in the Snapchat shit. They're basically trying to say, bro, are y'all serious? And keep in mind, Melly's lawyers, their job is to say, but how do you know? How do you know without a shadow of a doubt? You have to think like a juror. My nigga, if they showed you 98%, unless you like Melly, you're not going to be like, maybe it's that 2% possibility it's not Melly's. Maybe somehow it's like his PayPal account just got in there. He got also on the Facebook thing because they were probably running ads or something for Melly. They were like paying for shit on Facebook. And then maybe also like the phones that they're talking about also. Like, no juror is doing that unless you like Melly. You're saying, nigga, that sounds kind of like the nigga did it. Let's be honest.
Logins. Did you do any additional research on these particular IPs?
No, ma'am.
During the course of the investigation, did you have the opportunity to review all of the messages and content on Facebook?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there ever any indication somebody else was using that account?
No, ma'am.
In terms of the location, Pembroke Road and US 27 on the south side of the street, what jurisdiction is that in?
City of Miramar.
What county?
Broward County.
What state?
Florida.
And in terms of the individual that you've been identifying as Jamel Demons, do you see him in court today?
Yes, I do now.
And how do you recognize him?
He's wearing a black jacket with white shirt, sitting next to Mr. Addison.
Okay, and the record will reflect an in-court identification of the defendant?
Yes, counsel. Record will reflect the in-court identification of the defendant.
Okay. So I want to go on to the last Instagram message thread that we'll talk about in this case. It's been previously shown to defense counsel as states quintuple S, and a copy provided thereof. Detective Marty, do you recognize states quintuple S?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you recognize that?
It is the Excel spreadsheet I created. I was able to isolate the thread ID and put it into a more readable format. Sometimes it's difficult reading it from the several thousand Facebook, Instagram pages, so I put it into a format on Excel that you could easily read through and see the to and froms.
Okay. Does that fairly and accurately depict the thread ID between an individual identified as PZ_Gambino and the YNW Melly Instagram account?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the thread ID ending in 99651?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it any additions or deletions from the thread ID from the Instagram business records?
No, ma'am.
Now, at this time, the state requested those states quintuple S in as states 119.
And we approach. Yes.
Okay, there's a little sidebar. Let's get to it. This is where we're going to find out very important. There we go.
And boomerang all back.
I'm going to fast forward now in terms of the timeline and go to October 25th of 2018.
Let's see if this account's still up. PZ Gambino. They said that's who Melly was communicating with. Instagram.com, PZ_Gambino. Who is that? Alright, that's not this person. Let me see. PZ. Yeah, I think that person has changed your name. I don't think it's this person, no. Yeah, I think that person changed your name. They did. Okay, cool. Let's get back.
Going to specifically 10/25/2018, 14:36. PZ Gambino. You got a old iPhone you don't use. 10/25/2018, 14:42. PZ Gambino sends a photograph.
10/25/2018 at 15:40. YNW Melly. Hell no.
10/25/2018, 15:42. PZ Gambino. Damn. All right.
10/25/2018 at 15:43. YNW Melly. You need one?
10/25/2018, 15:43. PZ Gambino. Hell yeah, dog. I need a phone ASAP.
10/25/2018, 19:40. YNW Melly. The response is an unidentified emoji.
10/25/2018, 19:40. PC Gambino, YNW Melly, unidentified emoji. So when it says unidentified emoji, how are you able to translate that or see what those are?
It's usually little tiny like rectangles or little squares. They identify it as emoji, but when we try to put it into a Word document or something to translate to see what it is, we can't read it.
Okay. Do some of them translate in a Word document?
Some do, some don't.
Okay. So going to October 26th of 2018, not this specific conversation, but in reviewing the totality of the Instagram messages, are people checking in with the defendants or the YNW Melly account?
Stay.
are individuals sending messages to the YNW Melly account?
Yes, ma'am.
In terms of, are there responses to each of those messages from the YNW Melly account?
Sometimes, yes, ma'am.
In terms of images and photographs that were still circulating on social media on October 26th of 2018, were they all fair, accurate, and true statements as to what had happened?
Sustained.
In terms of the October 26, 2018 Facebook messages and social media information about these shootings that had happened.
There was a lot of false images.
Sustained.
Move to strike imperative instruction.
Jury district.
If we could approach?
Sure.
Okay. Now here we go.
October 26, 2018, 1940, UTC. Or, I'm sorry. Ten 26, 2018.
Okay. So we have Melly saying something to somebody who is the recipient of Melly and Wiz the Wiz, so I guess Wiz the Wiz. And he says, I did that. I want to catch this from the beginning, so let me play this again. This is really huge. This is how the state is wrapping up their case. They're calling it a admission.
Detective Moretti, I want to continue in that same thread with Mr. Gambino, Easy Gambino, that particular message. And I want to go to specifically October 26, 2018, 1940, UTC. Or, I'm sorry. Ten 26, 2018. You mentioned you can copy and paste them into Word to SL. On October 26th of 2018 at 20:02:18 UTC, what does the YNW Melly account state?
I did that with a smiley emoji.
In terms of what was that in response to from the PZ Gambino account?
Objection.
The PZ Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, I did that, and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time, the YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
And could you please stand and point on the right side of the screen exactly which part you're saying where the YNW Melly account says, I did that?
I did that. This is the thread ID. This is the text. This is the author.
By the way, you know, we've heard about this stuff before. I keep trying to tell you as we watch this trial because I don't want y'all to be shocked. Think like a juror. Think like a juror. You want to find an answer. This is a whole trial. You need to get an answer. By the way, and I'm not ruling this out, I do think YNW Melly's defense team is going to make something up or be like, hey, when he said I did that, he was talking about he fucked this bitch that everybody wanted to fuck. He finally fucked her. Like, he fucked her the night before. He didn't know all this was happening. He's just telling his mans, yo, I did that. Here we go.
This is the recipient. Then come down here, same thing. The ID is for the actual message, which is just specific that one message. Then the thread ID is the actual continuation of continued message. Then come down here to it says text. Shh. The SHHHH.
No further questions, Aaron.
Keep that up, please.
Hey, great place for the prosecutor to end to basically say, what have we painted the picture this whole time? This nigga did it. He did it. He doesn't have a heart. He's a fucking brazen criminal. He's a thug, a psychopath. He deserves to die. They end their case by saying, or maybe not their case, I don't know if they're bringing somebody else up, but they end this inquiry into this into this witness who is a cop by saying, what the last thing that Melly said right after that? I did that. Now, really, they would want to say that means a confession. If they say it, would be objections flying all over the place. So they don't have to say that. They just leave it there on the jury's mind. We rest our case. We're good. We're good. Now you know we're good.
D807. D807.
Cross-reference from which exhibit you got things from?
I wish I could. There's 4,000. 9807. Without going through all the messages.
Here, same thing. The ID is for the author.
You did that?
I did that. This is the thread ID. This is the text. This is the author. This is the recipient. Then come down here, same thing. The ID is for the actual message, which is just specific that one message. Then the thread ID is the actual continuation of continued message. Then come down here to it says text. Shh. The SHHHH.
No further questions, Aaron.
Keep that up, please.
Of course.
By the way, remember this. YNW Melly will not be the first. And whether he gets freed or he gets incarcerated for a longer period of time. This device right here has sent more people to jail than all the snitches in the world that they claim is telling on them. They're using what you sent in a Instagram message as a confession. They're using the GPS location as the fact that you were there. They're using the footsteps that you allegedly walked around the car to shoot up the car after people were dead as you staging it. They're using the GPS positioning and the calls that you called your girlfriend at the time, and her mom was listening. And you were frantic. You called Fredo Bang. You got in Fredo Bang's car. How do they know it? Because of Apple. Right here, nigga. This is why Melly's in jail. There's not one snitch. There's nothing that says that he would, without the Apple iPhone, he would not be, well, maybe he would get, arrested at a certain point, but this thing had every evidence that they needed. Let's think about it.
Lead Detective Murray. You are the lead detective.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Well, you're promoted, so you better apologize to the judge.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I'd like to consider. I can't see my eyes. Could you point to where I did that? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And how do you spell that?
THAT.
Okay. I'm going to show you some copies of 9807 without going through all the messages. They're all from exhibits.
All right, y'all. As always, ladies first, listen to this. Shice White, you're first. Go ahead and rock
May I mark this as a composite exhibit? Please. Do you have any objection? I'm going to offer it in there.
I don't know what happened here. Like, it was like, come on, Shank, you boring us to death now. We kind of got the gist.
Cross-reference from which exhibit you got things from?
I wish I could. There's 4,000 of them that we take. We took samples.
Excuse me 1 second. What's the next exhibit number?
I don't have the ability to view this. Go ahead.
It's going to be offered in evidence. So in evidence is that's 4. I'm sorry.
Listen to the whole trial right now.
That's 2. I'm sorry. And how many pages?
My personal feeling, you need this homie up right now. He cool. Some other shit. This guy right here, when he talks, I like how he talks. Even when he got bullshit, he makes a lot of sense with the bullshit. This guy, he seems already frustrated and frazzled. The jury don't know the jury just wants to be convinced. This guy does a great job of convincing. Even when he dead wrong and the judge about to rule against him, I'm like, man, this nigga making a good point. This guy, don't know. But let's keep it going.
I apologize.
No problem.
I get past when they mention 7,000, I get confused. And while he's marking,
I'll fast forward past this a bit. Basically, what's happening is that they're trying to figure out where. So he's about to bring up some old text that the state already submitted, and they're asking him where in the state's submission of these texts are you bringing up, and he basically said, I don't know. They had a lot. Which, by the way, I think that shows a little bit lack of preparation on Melly's side. You should have all your ducks in order, but maybe they didn't know that the state was going to end off with this I did it thing, or I did that thing, but they should have imagined that was going to be a big part of it. I did that is like a fucking admission. So anyway, let's go to this.
Melly double murder trial. It
Page numbers. Say less.
10/19, 2018 at 19.
Okay.
We use.
In terms of are the responses to each of those messages from the line that we know. 1906 sends a photograph. What was Mr. Gambino offering merchandise to be sold to the line W Melly?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it real estate?
No, ma'am.
Alright. Hey, chat, I ain't gonna lie. I gotta heat up some oxygen upstairs. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Lunchtime, bitch. I got some oxygen upstairs. I got a nice looking spot that just came around my area. So let me go heat that up real quick. It's gonna take like 2 minutes. And also I gotta make sure Big Pluto is, you know what I mean, properly fed and hydrated, you heard me? And then I'll be back in 2 minutes, like literally 2 minutes. I'm literally putting the microwave. I ain't gonna hold you.
Are they physical, tangible items?
Yes, ma'am.
So going forward to the dates and times in question. When you're going through on this, I want to make sure it's clear that this first line corresponds to the page numbers. And And where are you getting those page numbers from when you generated this document?
Top right-hand corner of the records provided to us from Facebook.
And this particular conversation, were you able to go through and isolate all of the information on this thread ID?
Yes, ma'am.
So with your permission, I'm going to go through, if we can just, if it says sender PZ Gambino, I will read it aloud, and if you would respond with whenever the sender is YNW Melly.
Okay.
So, first message, 10/19/2018, 1906. Sends a photograph from PZ Gambino.
Then 10/19/2018 at 1907, a message from the account of YNW Melly to PZ Gambino, tell him 450.
10/19/2018, 1911, PZ Gambino, he say 5.
10/19/2018 at 1911, YNW Melly, 475.
10/19/2018, 1929, PZ Gambino, say less.
10/19/2018 at 1932, YNW Melly, 480 at the most. 10/19/2018 at 1938, YNW Melly, what do you say?
All right, we're getting into some other testimony, but in real time, the court is on a morning break. So we want to check in with Law and Crime's Terry Austin. Terry, good morning again. Bring us up to speed on what the jury has heard so far this morning.
So far this morning, the prosecution, Christine Bradley, was doing her direct exam of Mark Moretti. He's the lead detective. And they got to the point that I think we've all been waiting for. During her opening, she said that Melly said, "I did that. Shh." And so we just heard text messages between PZ Gambino and YNW Melly, where in fact, YNW Melly does say on the other side, "I did that. Shh." But she stopped there. She finished her direct exam of Mark Moretti. He's been on 2.5 days, but she concluded right there to underscore that point. Cross-examination.
Alright. Finally ended. It's torturous. Show's wife or Mandy, who wants to chime in? I don't know what's happening.
Google Pixel represents. I love how clear the pictures look. Thought it was real creative how we did a whole photo shoot on the phone.
That was cute. I like that.
I must have had superpowers, put in work. I've been in the booth 1,000 hours.
Letterman? Anybody?
Ooh, my bad. All right, you. So from what I'm hearing, the prosecutors turn up the heat. And they're turning up the heat on things that are goddamn pretty much unexplainable by the defense. Yo, the same gun shot inside the car is outside the car. They're already dead before the drive-by happened. Explain all of that shit. That's the thing. So, let me see if I could. Here we go. There's some more video. I'm not leaving. I'm going to watch it with y'all.
On this, what are you demonstrating in this photo?
This is a demonstrative photo.
My bad. They're saying this is Melly right here? Holy. Why do I think that Melly killed these niggas with a Draco? If he did it. I don't think he did it, because Melly an innocent guy, right? But they're saying they feel he pulled out a gun, shot this guy. This is going to sound like a real cryptic and evil question, but I'm really asking it, like, just honestly. If you got your two ops, or the two guys who were your friends that you're trying to kill, one is here, one is in the back seat, who do you shoot first? I would think you shoot the guy to the right of you before you shoot the guy in front of you. Right? You got to kill this guy first. Because his back is already turned, right? You killed this guy right here because he's really within reach to grab that gun from you. You kill him, then you kill him, right? That sounds crazy. Like, well, shit. Yeah, everybody's sitting passenger seat. All right, let's see.
Photo that would show if an individual was seated in the rear passenger seat behind the driver would be able to obtain a shot into the front seat passenger.
And in terms of the individuals that are in this car, how are they attired?
Mr. Williams had
And sorry, let me clarify on that one. The people that are pictured in the photo,
oh yes,
what do they have on to protect the scene?
they're in Tyvek.
Okay. So going on to this next photo, what are you documenting here?
It is a photo from the other side of the vehicle for its demonstrative only.
What number?
6693. I'm sorry. 6692, and now moving on to 6693.
And it's just an additional angle. It's all angles from the vehicle.
And in terms of, there's a marker spot there, the red marker on the back of that individual's head in the front seat. What is that showing?
That is the approximate entry point for the defect on Anthony Williams.
And so now going into photo 6697, I'm sorry, 6696. What angle are you showing in this particular?
By the way, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think a lot of people have been arguing, oh, what about that woman's testimony? Like remember the girlfriend's mom? Like, I think her testimony was pretty good. And I think people are like, oh, nah, like the defense is clearly winning this. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I think the most impactful thing that the jury's gonna see is this. They're getting pretty much a play-by-play, a reenactment of how the murder looked. Right?
Particular.
This is from the rear of the vehicle.
The orange that we see at the bottom right, what are those things?
Those are the trajectory rods.
Going into the next photo, which is for counsel, 669.
Hey, if the jury believes that Melly did this, they're giving Melly death. Your friend thought he was safe enough to get in the car with you and had his back turned to you while you was in the back seat. And you executed him with a shot through his head that subsequently, you're going to hear them say, it goes through the windshield. They're giving you death. They're giving you death. So all that shit, I know some people are like, oh, nah, they got the motive wrong. He didn't kill them to be in the G-Shine gang. That might all be right. But here's the thing. When you see somebody kind of almost reenact a murder, this looks fucking cold-blooded.
97.
That's another photo from the rear of the vehicle.
Are you in any way, shape, or form stating this is the gun that was used?
I'm not stating that's the gun that was used at all.
No. Going into 6698. Again, what are you documenting here?
That would be a photograph of the same positioning of the gun from behind the rear of the vehicle.
Okay. Going to photo 6701. What are you showing here?
This is showing the proximity of the backseat passenger behind the driver in relation to the front seat passenger.
Now, so I want to go forward to some of the ones now with the ruler. When you are putting the tape measure in, what is your purpose of introducing the tape measure in these photos? And we're now here at 6708 and 6709.
To give, for the demonstrative photograph, to give a relation of distance.
And so in terms of this picture, it's showing what?
Well, it's not exactly to the end of the barrel of the firearm, and so it's approximately probably about 12 inches from the head to the end of the barrel.
And so showing it from the other side, is that the better angle?
Yes.
Okay, and that is photo 6713. What are you showing in this orientation of the arm?
The photo is showing that the arm does not have to be fully extended to obtain that shot.
And so going now to this photo, which is 6714, much greater distance. Up.
Correct. So 6714 shows the firearm in an alternative position, again for demonstrative purposes, to show a distance range, and a firearm can still be fired in that position and in the direction of the front seat passenger.
This summer, chill like you're retired.
So now we're moving on to the rear passenger. Are you using the same demonstrative model for this individual?
Yes.
Okay. So you talked about the blood from Cortland, or the driver, Cortland Henry's shirt on the front. Was there also analysis done of the blood on the back of Cortland Henry's shirt?
By the crime lab, yes.
Okay. And were you made aware of the results of the DNA of the blood sample on the back?
Objection, hearsay.
Not that I think that Melly did it, right? And I'm trying to be a blank canvas when it comes to that, but what do you think happened? Because put like this, let's say you're in a car with your man, and y'all arguing and whatever, like, you know, when a lot of people, when they argue, hands is moving around this and third. It feels like the only way Melly, let's say Melly did do it, right? Again, we're hypotheticals. If he did do it, the only way he could do it is if they were unaware, which would tell me maybe they're probably not even arguing, or even if they are arguing, it's not that heated. You get what I mean? Because, like, if you argue with a nigga next to you, you might even turn your back a little bit to the window and you looking at him type shit, right? And the nigga who, if everybody arguing in the car, the nigga who's sitting in the passenger seat or the front passenger seat is going to be looking at you. I don't know. Well, they're not drivers, so they can't look at you through the rear view mirror. But they're probably going to try to look at you through some type of mirror. You get what I mean? If they're all talking to you, or if you're talking to them, this feels like the only way you could kill these two dudes is if they were unaware. You get what I mean?
What's your side? Sustain your judgment. This is recruit.
So, Detective Williams.
So what everybody think about the clip?
And he's back. Welcome back to the Shank Show. Shank.
Well, we get back to say. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think about this, man? What's the consensus?
That was excruciatingly long, man. I hope you had a good dump.
No, I was writing some notes, but
Yeah, no, that's just a joke, man. I make jokes.
But what? Okay, Timo, what do you think? You know?
I when you were gone, I promised Shy's wife first, and then Mandy. You know,
all right, ladies first.
We do ladies first. Yeah, we did it on the Shank Show.
Shy's wife, Big T. So what's your consensus on this? You got to unmute. But what's your consensus on this? What do you think is going to be the verdict, and just what is your overall opinion on the case?
My overall opinion on the case is that was wild, like real crazy.
it could have been played a whole lot. Like, so the scenarios that I came up with is, was the other two men that was shot asleep, or was one of the men that was shot asleep?
Yeah, one was asleep. One in the front seat.
Okay, right. Okay, so the guy that was the shooter, he was in the back. So I'm thinking like maybe, I guess it depends on ultimately what state you're in, the rules to the state. I mean, all of that got to play in everything, because like the death penalty, I don't know. Like that's.
So let me ask you this, T. If he really, let's just say hypothetically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say he really did this and killed this for various reasons. He killed him. Fuck him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to one of them funeral and dressed him, bought the clothes, dressed him. Then he made a song, probably like a year prior, that detailed doing some shit like this. That was similar in the song, similar to what's happening now. Like he almost lived out his rap. You know what I'm saying? On some weird ass crazy shit, right? So let's say he did do it. What would be your opinion? Like, how would you feel about that?
I would feel like, yeah, he should go to jail if he did do it, but I also feel like if he done already rapped about it, wrote about it, that it could be easily staged because he rapped about it and wrote about it and put it out there.
Somebody could have framed it. That's true.
Exactly. Or well, let me go all the way back to the beginning, because my first thing is it shouldn't have took no hour to get there. So something was staged. It shouldn't have took no hour to get to the hospital. Even if it was a traumatic scene, even in that, because I've been in traumatic scenes to where, okay, nobody's, the person that got shot is not here no more. So even in that, I'm still calling the police, like, because I don't know what the hell is going on. So that was just like from an innocent bystander. But if you did it, yeah, I think he should do definitely some jail time, like maybe life, not
death though. Okay, that's fair.
I think he should do probably life if he did do it, because it was 2 murders.
You're a real black person, because we're very forgiving. We you know what I mean? We're very forgiving. We got hearts. So I understand that. I feel that way too, though.
And want a person that commits a murder to have the easy way out, because if you go to hell, I guess I ain't never been to hell, but I mean,
that's probably the easy way out.
Yeah, it's like you want to die. Like, no, I need to live with that and live and think about that every day. You know what you did, because that you did that.
Yeah. I get that point.
But yeah, that's my input on it.
I appreciate that, sis. Good looking.
Let me comment.
Ain't no problem, sis. I appreciate you for being here. D. Letterman. No, Mandy. I'm sorry, Mandy.
Hey.
Okay, so what's your overall thoughts on this case, and what do you feel like the verdict is going to be?
My thoughts, if you're going to do some dirt, don't take a fucking smartphone with you. Hey, I watch too much fucking
First
crime
48.
TV. Man, what?
Niggas getting pinged on. Niggas getting pinged. That's the only thing they got convicted. Life.
Hey, the way my shit be ringing, I'm pinging at every light, man. What you mean?
Real talk.
Even emails, all that shit, you gonna ping somewhere.
Yeah.
All that's a digital footprint.
They got him dropping his pin location near the crime scene for somebody to pick him up.
And then talking about it.
Yeah. That's insane.
I did that. Just dumb. I think after all that shit, you should be fucking charged.
Wait, you think that was a confession, Mandy? I did that?
Hell yeah. They can play it any which way, but the timing. It happened the same night that I did that, because the guy was talking about his lawyers and shit to switch around, talking about he hit a bitch. He got a bitch that he finally wanted. But it happened. He messaged that the same night.
That's insane.
Like that. Just being that stupid, he needs to be off the streets. If you're that stupid, you're that reckless.
Hey, isn't if we is to believe that he did this, isn't it like he basically just did it and then just gave himself to the people? Like,
yeah, but isn't that the society today and the generation today that they just brag about shit that's gonna get them caught? Look at the kids with the guns with the switch on them, posting on Instagram. They find them at the houses. They post it on social media with the switch.
All the switches.
That in itself is illegal, and they get caught when catch cases.
Yeah, the nigga he uploaded on social media about, it looked like he had about 10 to 12 switches, the devices.
Those are the type of motherfuckers that if they do something, they're doing it for clout. You gonna kill somebody? It's not life or death situation. It's not I'm defending myself. It's for clout.
So listen to what we saying though, man. So this nigga killed his 2 friends for clout?
No, I'm talking about the rapping. No, I didn't say he did it. I'm talking about this generation. I'm talking about him being as reckless as he is, just talking about it, rapping about it. He's stupid.
But look,
he's stupid.
he is this generation. That nigga young.
Yeah.
And he was on his way to being a megastar. He knew everybody in the industry doing songs with everybody, right? Kanye was fucking with him. A lot of people was fucking with him.
I think if he did that for real, they knew something about him and shit was about to come out. That's the only reason I see him killing his boys. They either crossed him or they was about to out him on some shit.
Mandy, for some reason, like I get your point, but for some reason I feel like it's something missing.
100%. It's either a money situation, a gay situation, or he was about to be locked up anyways.
Yeah, because I'm glad you said that, Mandy, because Melly has been on their radar for a long time. When he was younger, when he first was getting on, he was involved in the shooting where they shot at the police. Yeah. And they had it out for him because they couldn't get him for that. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. But think about it, like your boys, for you to even just cut your boy off, it has to be some crazy shit just to cut him off to kill him.
Yeah.
But the way we are ethnic people, when we make friends for life. If I call you my boy, my dog, you in my life.
That's right. Oh, that's facts. So okay, I appreciate that, Mandy. Rich, D. Letterman.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your overall opinion on the case, and what do you think the verdict is going to be?
I formulated my opinion a while ago, man, about 30, 40 minutes ago. Hearing about this for the first time, I haven't been into it, so I just put myself in the shoes of a juror, not to come across as a hater, but I was born that night, not last night.
That's right.
I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, but I ain't the dullest tool either. If it sounds like a duck and quacks like a duck, it ain't a motherfucking chicken.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That motherfucker is guilty as OJ. All right. Come on now.
Damn.
Come on now.
He compared him to OJ, man. Damn.
Come on now. Let's be real. Let's be real about this. I mean, never mind I did it. You know what I mean? Never mind all the circumstantial shit. They got him in the car. Okay? They got the Instagram, the Facebook. All right, now what else do you need? All right, come on now.
Okay, let me interject.
Look. You can say all you
Let me interject.
Get your chance done. Hold on. Now look. You can say everything you want to. You can say, oh, we share the phones and this, blah, blah, blah. But you got fucking Snapchat, Facebook, who in the fuck? I know if I got some business phones that I'm, I got an account and I'm sharing with everybody, I ain't gonna let nobody have no access to my, Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, none of that. You know what I mean? Because I got private messages, I got shit, I got, girls I'm talking to, whatever. So why would I share? I mean, this is just ridiculous, man. And even if he don't, even if he.
Go ahead.
He's still gonna have to face. He's still gonna have to face a civil trial with the parents.
Yeah, for the money, wrong for death.
So in a civil trial, the burden of proof is not that high.
Right.
It ain't take much to be convicted in a civil trial. All right.
Okay. Can I interject, please?
Okay.
Can I interject?
Tons, go ahead. Tons, then Timo.
Okay. Now, we all know that these rappers and upcoming rappers that are new, upcoming rappers that are just getting traction and just getting used to receiving these big checks that they get on a quarterly basis. They may not have the best system in place as far as when they have these phone lines and things like that. They want to keep their voice in the loop, so they might have 15, 20 lines on a phone contract. And we all know how the boys that they're trying to put on and help, when they're the actual stars, we all know how that could transpire. Their main objective is to look a particular type of persona. So a lot of things happen. Even in the C murder trial, you got these entourage of guys, and they might have a phone line with 20 phones on, and then these guys are on it. That doesn't necessarily mean that this is his phone. This is where he uses his social media, because their social media is so many that you have handlers that handle the social media content and respond to the people, and they think that it's them, and it's really not. It's the handlers that's responding to the social media. So as far as any private messages or anything like that, it would not be done on a commercial or public forum, as far as Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want, whatever platform you want to name. So we can't use that as an excuse, because, they have their own private phones, they may have a own private social media account as well. We don't know that in this case. So we can't use the fact that the social media or whatever platform, because it could be anybody in this entourage. And a lot of times these entourage be a lot of people. At least 15, 20 people. So we can't gauge to see, who was responding to these messages, what phone line that particular phone was issued to, and if the person may have made a mistake and shot these people in retaliation fire. We don't know anything about that. So what we have to look at is the facts that are presented to us now, which is these people got shot point blank range. An hour later, the car gets, or approximately an hour later, we don't know if it's an hour later, if it's 15 minutes or 20, 30, 45 minutes later, the car gets shot up. So we don't know what exactly transpired, because most of the attorneys are going to tell their clients not to say anything, not to make a statement, not to do anything. So we don't know. All we can do is speculate at this point. So we don't know if some things have happened. They transpired. They had a shootout. We don't know if it was one shootout or two shootouts. We don't know that. So we can't say that this person is automatically guilty, because we don't know all of the circumstances that transpired in this particular case. You see what I'm saying? Because there's been cases where people have done way less and has been convicted, and then there's people that have done way more that has been convicted. So these outcomes are, kind of, we don't really know how it's going to go. So the thing is that we have to keep listening and see what the prosecution has in store. Some things they may not present in the beginning. It might try to present them later on in the case as a nail coffin. But at that point, we haven't got there yet. So we're just basically listening to what they have now. And from what I can understand is what we have is some individuals entered the vehicle. The victims were in the vehicle. Two victims in the vehicle were pronounced dead. They presume that the two victims were killed before at least an hour or maybe less. We don't really know because we're not forensics evidence experts, or so we don't know if the people panicked, they didn't know what to do, and then somebody said, "Man, just take them to the fucking hospital, man. They're dying. They might could survive or whatever. They might could get somebody to live." So then someone takes them to the hospital, and they say, "Well, hey, they shot up the car. This is what happened." We don't know if they shot the car up and nobody got hit. And then they shot the car, maybe they shot the car up and two guys got hit. And then they went to retaliate and the car got shot up again and the two guys got hit then. We don't know that. We don't know if the guys were shot first and then they went back to retaliate and, the guys got hit again when they were already shot and probably struggling for their life or whatever. We don't know that. So we don't know the exact circumstances that transpired in this particular case. So we can't make a conclusion on a very, very, very limited amount of information that we're receiving as far as what happened, what transpired, why it transpired. We don't know any of that. All we have is some hearsay evidence of, somebody said that he was having sexual relations with one of the guy's mother. They got into a confrontation. He threatened her or whatever the case may be. We don't even know if that is true or not. It could be something that's been spun to protect someone else that may have potentially shot the person by accident. Because when guys shoot, if the guys, usually these rappers, they have these guys from the neighborhood or guys that they know. These guys carry weapons, and they shoot at them, they shoot back. We don't know if these guys got shot by accident. We don't know what the particulars are, so we can't make a judgment. And this is where we go wrong in our society. They say we're supposed to be tried by a jury of our peers. But if our peers are not from the inner cities where a lot of crimes have happened, then the thought process is a little bit different. You see what I'm saying? So somebody might say, well, oh no, this guy's look different because they weren't brought up in those particular type of circumstances. But our Constitution states that these people are supposed to be of our peers, which means the communal people that live in the particular area or neighborhood or city or whatever it is that the crimes have transpired, to get a fair and just verdict of what they perceive as happened in the case. And a lot of times the jury that we have and the peers that we have are not so. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And there's tons and tons of people that are locked up and convicted for crimes that they didn't commit because the circumstantial evidence pointed that they did do it. But in actuality, they didn't. And so you have technology increasing. So you have a lot of people coming out of prisons, saying that, oh, we did DNA. This DNA says that it's impossible that he did it. It was someone else. So we really can't come to a conclusion as of now of who was responsible for the deaths of these two individuals. So, and we know how, corrupt and biased or racist or whatever you want to call it, the judicial system has been to people of color. We can look at the C murder case, and the guy that they described in the C murder case was totally, you can't miss the description of a C murder, because C murder was tall as hell, like a basketball player. He was light complected. This guy was stocky and short and dark. So, you can't really make a conclusion on the evidence in this particular case that they have so far. That's my conclusion on this whole situation here.
Okay, so I guess I'm supposed to go next. I think I agree with pretty much everybody. What they said in the panel is that this is going to come down to the forensic evidence. The forensic evidence of, because you have, from what Shank was playing, you have like two people that were like shot in the head. So hopefully they have that bullet. And then you have the other thing about people shooting into the car into their bodies. So you would think you would have bullets recovered. And I think that in our society as it's structured now, even though I don't watch all those shows, when you have like the CSI Miami, CSI Vegas, all those crime shows out there, that if they want to convict this guy, they're going to have to provide the forensic evidence where people because it's a jury trial. We know that for a fact, that's where they're going to be like, wait a minute, there's like 2 bullet entry wounds from these bullets into their heads, because your skull's pretty much going to absorb that, and then all of a sudden into the car. And if those were the same bullets, it looks like they staged it, like according to what he was playing. So I think that it's all going to boil down to the forensic evidence, because I think that a lot of people really believe that forensic evidence and go, oh, wait a minute. And then you have, like you said, am I still on? I don't even know. Can anybody hear me? Tons, can you hear me? I don't know. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I think that it comes down to when you just have people that are like, I don't know who this rapper is, or maybe they do, or whatever. But when you have, that's the forensic evidence where people are like, wait a minute, the shots came out from it. The shots came out. Wait, hold on. Let me finish. Sure. You have the shots that came out from inside the car, so one of the 4 people, right? 2 are dead. One's the guy accused and one's the accomplice. You have the video of 4 people in that car, and 2 died within that car, and they weren't taken to a hospital for over, like, what is presented, like an hour. So whatever it is, they panicked, or maybe they were just scared or something. But if you have the same type of forensic evidence that says, well, wait, the same gun, the guy killed both of them, and then they decided to shoot into the car at their dead bodies, and they can figure out through the forensic evidence, I think that's going to be the deciding thing whether or not this guy gets a death penalty or he walks. Like, if it's the same type of bullets, the same, like, as y'all know, I'm military, was it different types of rounds? Was it 223s? Was it 5.56? What was it? Like, the other rounds that entered through the car door, and forensic evidence can pretty much figure that out And they can also figure out, like, time of death. Like, pretty much, whether it was 15 minutes or what was an hour, they were just driving around with dead bodies going, I don't know what we're going to do with them. We're going to dispose them? I don't know. So that's where I think the forensic evidence will be the deciding factor in this trial. And whether or not they do a good job or not, I don't know. I don't know how good Florida is at that. But that's really where we were listening to that for like 45 minutes or something of this one guy's opinion of what the prosecutors and stuff. And Letterman's already made this guy's.
Timo, since you have a military background,
yes, I do.
You know that we can't determine whether the bullets that were fired into the car, we don't know if it was two shootouts or not. It could have been two shootouts in one. It could have been they shot at these people at a particular place, they ran, then they got away, then the people caught back up with them and shot again. We don't know that if something like that has transpired, because most of the defendants are going to tell their clients not to make a statement, not to say anything. So we really don't know the particulars of the case, because very well, a person could have went up and shot the car up, and these people have gotten hit, and then they go and shoot it up again once they're chasing them, and then 20 minutes later, they shoot the car up, and these people, once you get hit in the head and you're dead, that's from that point. So, after the next 5 minutes or 10, 15 minutes, if they get hit again, then they can't determine, well, if that person was shot at the time of the first incident, or, they know that they were shot after because of the blood is not flowing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, or somebody was trying to finish the job.
Or somebody was trying to finish the job and shoot the rest and kill the rest of the people that were involved.
Yes.
Okay. So
correct.
So we can't say that this guy.
I'm not saying either way. I'm just saying the forensics will probably tell the story.
Yeah, but the forensics is limited because of the fact that, for instance, let's say look at a scenario where some shit jumps off, the people get shot right off the rip. Boom, boom, boom. They shoot the car. The guys get hit. Two of the guys in the car get hit right off the bat. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then they flee the scene. The guys is chasing them. They lose them. And then the guys catch up with them. See where they're at. Shoot the car up again, right? Shoot the car up again. And the guys who have already been deceased have gotten shot again. So,
but according to what we were listening to, the shots were fired from inside the car. So how do you justify that?
We don't know that. We don't know if the guy was standing and talking to them in the car, and it may have been someone that, that they may have known or whatever. But we don't know. The guy could be standing there in the window talking to the guys and then say, yeah, you know what, blah, 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 and then take their gun out and shoot two of the guys in the back of the car, and then they speed off.
I respectfully disagree because what we heard was that it was close range.
Right, close range. So if you're standing in a
close
car,
range from inside the car.
Right. Okay.
We didn't hear.
Right.
We didn't.
Right, okay.
We did not hear.
Let me
if this is an
saying.
SUV, yeah, go. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, man. I respect you. You know this.
Yes, absolutely. So okay, let's say there's a car parked and a guy comes up to the car and he says, "Oh, that's such and such from 23rd Street," and he comes to the car and starts talking. And then he pulls his gun out and shoots the two guys in the car. He tried to shoot everyone in the car, and only two guys get hit. We don't know.
They said
if
the shots came fired from inside the car.
Right,
an exit wound through the back of the head went through the front window. Yes.
You're a military man. You're a military man, okay? So let me ask you this, okay? Mm-hmm. If you come up to a particular, let's say you're in Iraq, and there's a roadside bomb, or whatever the case is, and the people and some kid comes up the car and said that we're trying to sell some oranges and bananas to the soldiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the kid whips out a 45 and shoots two people in the car. It's going to look like it's close range. if you're standing at the window of the car and you shoot inside the car, that's going to look like close range. So we can't determine the fact that
not in the back of the in the back of the head. In the back of the head.
So they both were shot in the back of the head.
They said the one in the front passenger seat, so next to the driver, was shot in the back of the head, and then the one to this guy's right, who's been charged with this crime, shot that guy too.
Okay, so let's say somebody comes to the back, to the back passenger rear window, right? And said, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, what's up, man?"
But they didn't.
So let's say the guy. Hold on, let me finish what I'm saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's say you got a guy that comes to. Hold on.
I'm listening for a long time.
Hold on, let me finish what I'm saying. Then you can talk.
This sounded like we stretching a little bit.
No, we're not stretching a little bit. Just let me finish what I'm saying.
Let two times go and then Letterman. Come on, guys.
Okay. D. Letterman, hold on a second. Okay. Let's say the guy walks to the passenger side rear door of the vehicle, right? And he says, "Hey, what's up, man? What y'all been up? We supposed to do studio time last week. Blah blah blah." He shoots the guy in the front seat in the back of the head and shoots the other guy point blank. Then they speed off real fast because he's shooting, pop, shooting the car because the ballistics is not going to determine the bullets that entered the vehicle. They can't determine when those shots were fired, right? So the car speeds off, they get away. So now the car is driving, and then they get to another position or another point of whatever, and they catch up with them, and they start shooting at the car again. A couple guys get hit inside the vehicle, and for some miracle, the other guys in the vehicle didn't get hit. We don't know that. That's what I'm trying to say. Circumstantial evidence may look like one thing, but can completely be something totally different. Is what I'm saying. So we can't just run and say, okay, this guy was shot point blank range in the car. But somebody can walk up to the fucking rear passenger car door and they roll the window down. Hey, what up? That's such and such from 33rd Street. You know what I'm saying? He shoots the guy in the back of the head. He shoots the guy. Now, if I was investigating the case, I would say, well, damn, it looked like somebody went to the rear passenger side of the vehicle and may have been speaking with someone in the rear seat, or maybe on the other side. He could have been talking to NLE Chopper, which is on the other side, and said, "Hey, what the fuck's up, man? You owe me X amount of dollars, blah, 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 blah." He said, get the money when you can, nigga. He shoots the guy in the passenger side. He shoots the guy, pop, pop, pop. He's trying to shoot NLE Chopper, too, and the driver, they get away. Right? And then they catch up with him and shoot the car up again and speed off. Then the guys say, "Fuck, god damn." They trying to keep the guys up. They go to the fucking hospital. They say, "Hey, some guys came up, shot at our car," but they don't know it was it was two incidents. We don't know that because attorneys are going to tell them not to say a fucking thing when you go into court, because that's the best thing to do, because they use shit against you. You follow what I'm saying?
I follow. Now go to Letterman's turn now. Letterman go with it.
Okay, it could be God came down and materialized in the car and shot him. It could be they wanted to set him up, so they wanted to fake their own deaths, and their hands grew a couple of inches and shot themselves in the back of the head. It could be anything. It could be
anything. It could be anything. That's my whole point.
We can say
that's my whole point.
Let me talk. Because respectfully, I've been sitting here listening for a long time. I'm trying not to cut you off.
Not a problem.
Last time I checked, hold on. Last time I checked, we said here we was listening to a court proceeding. A real court proceeding. All right? Where they had insurance. Okay? Now, my injury is the prosecution. They got a budget for these things. They can hire ballistic ballistic experts to test the bullets where they come from. Okay? Now, I'm not naive to sit here and say
but we don't know that information. We don't know the ballistics, if it was different guns. We don't know anything. Go ahead.
Please, let me finish, man.
I'm good.
They have the budgets, okay, in the to having these forensic experts, okay. They said there, they have a technology expert on there testifying, saying that his phone was specifically used for Snapchat, Facebook, whatever. Okay?
Right.
Now, if you were sharing that phone with somebody else, wouldn't it belong to Snapchat, Facebook, whatever? Okay?
Yeah, but we don't know what handlers were using that because they all have handlers.
Look, you need your own show, I know that. All right?
They all have handlers, so we don't know who has had access to that individual device.
Please finish.
Go ahead, finish. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
I mean, but listen, I'm not naive to sit here and say that beyond a reasonable doubt, these people wanna just hang a nigga. They just wanna kill that nigga. I know there's prosecutors out there. There's police out there that's corrupt. All right? Right. All you gotta do is be within a mile of the earth and they're gonna come after you. But you know what? Sometimes we as black folk need to take accountability for this generation out here. When you turn on the news and you release shit like this every day, this younger generation raised with single-parent mothers, okay, with this whole hip-hop culture, okay. Stop. Let's just stop. Let's just have some common sense for once in a while. All right? These people have a job to do. Okay? They're doing the job. They're trying to find the victims involved in this. The families of the victims. They're trying to get closure for them. Okay? So let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely. We are. We're giving everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Do their due diligence. They're killing with their kids, okay? And they're not just gonna put somebody up to catch the blame, or put them up. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like the reality of these dreams. You can't sit there. I don't care what you say. You can't sit here and convince me. You can't sit here and convince.
This is the problem we have in America.
On the same night, and he just suddenly disappeared. He suddenly disappeared. His phone was enraged.
We don't know who operated that phone. We have handlers.
The experts here. We don't need experts. We got experts. Okay? We got experts in the trial. They got experts in the court.
Yeah.
Autopsy. Experts.
And we got thousands of innocent people in prison as well. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, there's thousands of people innocent in prison.
That's right.
Okay. Now, we still need to take accountability for what we do.
Exactly. Okay? I agree.
We still need to. We can't just give a pass just because there's racist people out there and say, okay, well, you're going really and do what the fuck y'all want to do. It's open season.
Right, but we don't know what happened. It's open season. We don't know what happened. It could be a whole different scenarios of what happened.
Because we up against the racist system.
Right, so how could you be biased and say that you think this person is guilty when there could be 100 scenarios? Saying that this, it could be 100 scenarios.
Go ahead. I know you want to talk. Go ahead.
No, it's not about I want to talk. It's just that you can't deny the fact that there could be 100 different scenarios.
How are you going to interrupt
circumstances of the case?
Tons, give me 1 second. Rich, how are you going to interrupt Tons first and say he the one that want to talk.
I mean, I was just trying to finish. That's all. You know what
I'm just
But
making
you
it.
were
I'm just making a
I
point.
just listen to you just talk in circles.
And
Hey,
this is how
and then
this
you
is how
interrupt calling
society
him
thinks.
places.
This is how society thinks, and this is why there is thousands of innocent people in prison that are coming out every day. Because circumstantial evidence pointed towards this person did it, but in actuality that they didn't. Because there's 100, 2,000, 3,000 scenarios that could have taken place. We don't know the particulars of it because the people are not going to talk because the attorneys are telling them not to say shit. Let them handle the narrative. You see what I'm saying?
But we just sat here and listened to a whole court proceeding with the experts.
Yeah.
With the people
Exactly.
that
That's their point of view. Their point of view is not etched in stone. It can be biased or it could not be correct. They're going off hearsay and things that they've learned from the investigation. But as far as the actual people that were involved, we're not getting any statements from them. So we can't go off of what the people say because the people can make, if something looks a particular way, then they're going to shoot with that. Because whatever the best scenario is that they can go with, this is what they're going to go with. And this is what has statistically been done for years and years and years and years, decades and decades. So we have to go off of what has been used, the model that has been used for decades. And this is why there is innocent people and thousands of innocent people in prison. And this is because of that. One of the reasons, not all of them, but one of the reasons is the particular crime bill that Biden had, did in the 80s. So it turned out into a numbers game opposed to who's innocent or guilty. And this is why there's thousands of people that are freaking innocent, but then they come out with this new technology and now they're bringing people out. So we don't know the particulars of the case. So we can't make the particulars that they provide. It doesn't designate the fact that this person actually did the crime. They don't know if these people got shot up and then they sped off and got away and the people called back up with them. We don't know that. We don't know if they caught back up with them. What if they did? Would you have the same premise if they caught back up with them and shot the car up again after these people were shot in the first place? Because the guy was standing in the passenger seat, rear passenger window, and shot the driver, the other guy. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Ain't nobody ever been guilty throughout history because of the racist system.
That's crazy. That's crazy because there's a whole court. Listen, in Michigan, there's a whole court that the whole name was changed because of the people that were convicted, that were innocent, that they said that they were guilty. So you can't say that.
Nobody's ever been guilty.
If you look at the felony court in Detroit, Michigan, if you look at the felony court in Detroit, Michigan, right? It used to be called another court. It used to be called Recorder's Court. Now it's called Frank Murphy's Court. You should investigate why that is. Try that.
I investigate things on a case-by-case basis. And I just heard about this case tonight. And I sat here and I listened to a whole hour of a court proceeding.
And that's right. And you made a judgment. And you said these guys are guilty. There's no way that they got
and I sure did.
Information. It could have been a guy in the car behind them because when they're pinging the phone's information, a lot of times these guys drive in convoys. Who's to say that the car that pinged that phone information was in the car behind them? Or we can't say that because it's not going to pinpoint that.
Somebody materialized in the car with a gun with secret powers.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if a person was standing. No, listen to what I'm saying. You're making it sound different than what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, okay, think. Let's say if you're a car vehicle, right? You got somebody in the driver's seat, somebody in the passenger seat, somebody in the rear seat of the driver, behind the driver, somebody in the rear passenger seat, right? and somebody's standing at the fucking window of the rear passenger. You can't tell me that this person can't take a gun out and shoot the passenger and shoot the guy that's in front of him and try to shoot the other guys and they get away? Come on, that's
they can shoot him. They can shoot him, but in the back of the head is unlikely.
How is it unlikely if he's standing right there in the passenger seat and the guy ducks down when he sees the gun? He could shoot him in the back of the head and shoot the fucking passenger.
I mean, we're stretching now. We're stretching.
We're not stretching. That's
y'all.
That's problem.
You don't know that either, though.
If somebody picks a gun out, he could say, "Pull off, man, pull off." And duck down. The guy shoots. Hit him in the back of the head. The guy in the driver, he gets hit to the back of the head. We don't know where the ballistic's going. We don't know where that bullet went to the floor or went through the window. We don't know that. We don't have the particulars of the case.
Letterman, 2 tons.
I'm
just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Hey, guys, let's. All right. Hey, guys, let's just leave it there because let's Letterman.
We don't know.
Letterman, go ahead. Let's just leave it there because we've been going at this one topic for an hour and a half, and it's also an open forum. So, yeah. No, I'm just saying, let's all agree to disagree. I love you both. You guys are great guests on this show. Let's just kind of leave it there because none of us was there. So we don't know. We don't really know. We don't really know till more stuff comes out. We just don't know, okay? Can we leave it there? Is that cool? Can everybody agree on that? Nobody was there? Or were you guys both in the car?
We don't know.
Okay, so we don't. Yeah, can we just leave it there? Because we went at it, listened to an hour of that BS thing that was getting boring as crap. Let's just leave it there. It's open forum. Shank show. Get the paper. We stay. Get our paper. We stay low. Letterman go on. Finish up. Let's just leave it there.
Okay.
That's our comments on this. And then after that, it's an open forum.
All I need to say is disrespectful. All I want to say, Charles is my cousin. You know I love him. What I need to say is that we are human beings at the end of the day. All right. And
well, maybe you. I'm not a human being. I'm an alien.
None of us are perfect.
It's a joke, man.
We all need to. A detective is a human being when he tries to solve a crime. Not everybody's going to be there to see what happens. All right? Mm-hmm. So there has to be some, speculation, and they have to put what they have available, what evidence they have available to find the killers. We can speculate all day long, but at the end of the day, nobody knows for sure unless they were the ex-witness. That's it.
Exactly.
That's
Correct. Yeah, we're all in agreement.
Exactly.
Like we've been before, like when we were talking on the last show I was on. So now it's let's just leave it there. Everybody's got a little bit. These are just opinions. These are reckless speculation. We don't know. We wasn't there. Yeah. So and the defense is going to offer. Well, no. Something else happened, and some other people are going to have different opinions. It's going to be up to the jury. There's no real reason to really go on for another hour on this one topic. So do you guys have any other topics about, like, life or what you're doing? Because it's an open forum. It's what it says in the invite. So I don't know where Shank happened. Do you have anything else, or like, just about whatever? I don't know. Sports or the crazy weather we're having in Arizona. 18th day in a row here in Arizona of over 110 degree heat. We break the record tomorrow. They're saying it might be 30. Like, whoa, that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, weather's pretty boring. Just hot as bleep here, but it's an open forum. Either you have any other topics other than this topic that we don't really know what happened?
The way it looks, it could be a million different circumstances. This is why there's hundreds and hundreds of people that are convicted that are innocent, and they're coming out every single day. So we can't just jump the gun and say, oh, we need to take accountability, because we don't know the circumstances of the case, and we don't know the people that are investigating the case either. They may have an incentive to say, well, hey, if I get so many amount of busts, I get so many amount of convictions, I get X amount of incentives. So we don't know what the fuck is going on, so we can't really make a conclusion. You know what I mean? That's just what I have to say about it.
True.
So if you were a juror sitting on the
Letterman, can I respond to that? There was an innocent. Yeah, you're batting third in the line, just on this topic.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Like, I was going to say that the Innocence Project run by Northwestern University about Illinois convicted felons freed something like 40-something plus death row inmates on DNA evidence. So
exactly.
So, I also want to, and I'm going right to you, Letterman. Is that, and we're all the hosts right now. I'm not the host. I'll never be the host. They would never let me host the show. But that, that people are wrongfully convicted a lot of times about, over some BS, and that eventually they get out and it's like they're freed over just the DNA evidence. And that I wanted to touch on the point that I think her screen name, I think they call her T, but Shice's wife had mentioned I don't know about the death penalty for this guy. And I sort of agree with that it's much costlier to society to have somebody life in prison, but we should probably defer on the side of error just in case there are people that are wrongfully convicted. That's all I got to say about that. Go ahead, Letterman.
All right.
Like the death penalty. The death penalty. She said it. She left the show probably because it got boring after an hour of that. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know when she left, but she did comment after that video was played.
She did. Yeah.
But are we going to approach every case like, okay, well, there's been so many people that was wrongly convicted. Somebody's got to be. Come on, Tino, you just got that talking, man. Come on.
All right, I'm done. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Are we gonna say somebody got to be guilty sometime? We're not on 100% innocent. We can say every case that come on the news. That little girl that got kidnapped, and they found her dead in the alley, the 2-year-old girl, right? The guy driving the car. Or we can say somebody set him up too. We can say that about every case. Right? But the thing is that we don't have superhuman abilities. We have to work with what we have. We have to work with evidence that leads to a suspect. None of us are psychics. If you're a juror sitting in that courtroom, right, what are you going to say? Oh, well, we weren't there. We don't want to come to a conclusion. No, They have to come to a conclusion.
Right.
Because
Every case is different.
Because they're presenting the evidence to me that they've collected. And that's how I'm approach it. When I look at a case, I look at a case-by-case basis.
Right.
Just
Every case is different.
You can't look at it with a broad brush and say, they've been 40% death row inmates that were wrongly convicted. You have to try and solve the case, don't you?
Exactly. You can't just drop the gun on any circumstantial evidence because we don't know if it's true or not. We don't know how they came to
the jury sitting in.
We don't know how they came to the conclusion of the evidence that they have.
So the jury sitting in the jury box should just give up and say, okay, well, this is all you got? This is it? I mean, common sense has to rule the day sometime, you know?
This is not a matter of common sense. It's circumstantial evidence. We don't know how they derived from the. We don't know how they got the evidence that they have. We don't know if it's factual or not. We don't know what happened in the circumstances. That's the whole point of the cases. It'd be different if somebody said, "I saw him shot him." It'd be different if there was a witness that said, "We saw him shoot him in the head." We don't have that. All we have is circumstances.
And not every murder has that either. They have to go by what they have. So we can't jump the gun on every murder case and say, this prosecutor is racist. We can't do that. How are we going to have order? It's going to be chaos.
That's not what we're doing here, so you're mixing it up.
Well, either way, this is more of an existential question of whether or not we should have the death penalty or life in prison. Like, I say life in prison, but I think it should be hard time. Like, you know, not like internet and movies and TV and stuff like that, but like when earlier on the show the T said, you know, let them suffer. The problem is some of the life in prison people, it's like kind of like a sort of a nice sentence versus giving them an out. So what say you, Tons, you're on, or Letterman? I was just saying, I think let them spend the next. To me, I'm more like a life in prison guy, but you know, because that's like always the topic of debate is whether or not you should give them the death penalty, firing squad, like electric chair, like all this sort of public hanging, all the sorts of stuff that's been done in this country. So what do you guys think about, I guess, the death penalty? Like, should people
I think life in prison is probably a worse punishment than death, you know, because, you know, they got to sit here and suffer, you know what I mean, while they're alive. And death is just the easy way out to me, you know. But I think they need to bring back some of this stuff. Like, if they're going to do it, bring back the guillotines, bring back the firing squads. There was a judge, an ancient judge that I just read about, right?
You want niggas to get stoned to death?
Oh, hey, why not? They do. Hey, look, they do it in some of the Arab countries. So
let me interrupt.
Let me finish.
Okay, yeah, of course. It's not my show.
There was an ancient judge that I just read about who he was corrupt, and they found out that he was taking bribes to give you know, people their desired outcomes, and they caught him red-handed, and they punished him to be skinned alive. Okay? But before that, they asked him, they said, okay, who would you like to be your successor before we carry out the punishment? And he picked his son, right? So they sat there and they skinned him alive, and they used his skin and made it the seat where the judge has to sit on to remind any judge after him, well, what could happen if they're corrupt. So his own son had to sit on a seat made out of his father's skin. So they're going to say we get rid of all of these punishments, right? Like it's because it's inhumane, right? Well, you're killing somebody. You're killing somebody at the end of the day. What's humane about that?
Right.
I just bring it all back.
Yeah,
But here's the thing. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. So, you know how there was this Oregon person who's been charged with knifing and killing 4 college students.
Yeah.
Their punishment is death by firing squad. To me, I think
in Oregon?
The Oregon one that's alleged, right? No, and this is really like when I do the alleged thing because he has not been convicted, but he went and allegedly knifed 4 people in like some little like sorority like house, okay? But the Oregon punishment, that's their state law, is that if he's convicted, it's punishable by a firing squad.
Damn. Hey, I didn't know they still did that, but that's interesting. And you know what?
Yeah, it's open forum now.
Let me say this, Timo, to your point.
We was just debating over from. We kind of finished off the.
I got the Melly
rapper thing.
Yeah. Let me add to your point. The death penalty is not in every state, but it's in a lot of southern states. And Michigan was one of the ones that we didn't have it for a while, but there was an amendment put in to where we could use it if the crime was heinous enough, right? So, like for instance, the guy who killed the little baby from wherever, Grand Rapids or Lansing, wherever they came from, and
the 2-year-old girl.
Yeah, he dumped a 2-year-old girl on the east side, killed her, strangled her. The death penalty is on the table for that in Michigan, and we don't do it. We don't execute it like Florida, Alabama, Texas. You can get it there easily for tour. And this is the criteria, y'all. When I did my research,
in Oregon, what I was just mentioning, which is true,
a
firing squad.
That's dope. I like that. I would rather watch that than a nigga getting a needle and just going. You feel me? It'd be more exciting.
Let's all just imagine for 1 second. See, the whole death penalty thing has been kind of hijacked by people who believe in humane treatment and all that stuff, right? But let's just imagine that 2-year-old girl was like one of our daughters, or maybe our little sister or niece or something like that, right? We would want justice, right? And if somebody did that to my daughter, I wouldn't mind seeing that motherfucker get stoned or skinned alive or whatever. You know what I mean? We just put ourselves in the victim shoes. That's all.
Oh no, I understand that. I can't understand sometimes when, man, this is a live podcast, but I can't understand if something like very terrible I have a 23-year-old daughter. If something very terrible happened to her, it ain't going to be no judge, no jury. It's going to be me. Like, that's it. Like, if I talk to my daughter and says this is what happened to her, ain't going to be no fun for you. Like, I'm just saying that's just the way I feel. So, but I'm just saying it's not going to be like, let's let the jury play out. Let's let, like, or the judge decide. I'm like, no.
Well, here's the
I'm hunting you
criteria.
No, but I'm
And
just saying,
most
I'm saying, Shank, I'm hunting your, like, if you go and kill my daughter.
You ain't stopping till you get revenge. For a
That's
fact.
the truth.
That's every man.
It's
It should be.
that's the
It should
fact.
be every man. But
Like,
but let me say
gonna
this.
be, and it's going to be your fucking family, too.
Here's the thing. In that scenario, in Florida, Alabama, Texas, you probably wouldn't get the death penalty. Let me tell you some of the criteria of it.
Oh, the vengeance part of it, but yeah, crime of passion. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
So when I researched most death penalty criteria, is gang related, is 2 or more bodies, and it's gang related, 2 or more bodies. There was one more thing. Premeditated, I want to say. Something like that. But, like, if you had time to think about that shit, you go do it and commit a heinous crime, kill 2 or more people gruesomely, you're going to get a death penalty in most southern states. Now, in your scenario,
what I was talking about is Oregon.
So let me say this.
In the western coast state.
Wait, let me say that in the southern states that we're speaking of, that's highly favored for the death penalty. If you, in that scenario that you painted, if somebody harmed your daughter, killed your daughter, you suck revenge on them, killed them, you probably wouldn't get the death penalty. I don't think 8 jurors would say give them death for that, because something happened to you that made you do that. You know what I mean? Something tragic.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, that's. So I can understand where people are like, you know, person needs to die, but I'm like, I'm not letting it go to like no jury. It's like
you just cop out.
You now.
You'll cop out.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm just saying this is a hypothetical.
Yeah, it is.
So,
it is very hypothetical.
I'd probably be in church every day going, please don't let me do this because I want to stick around. But something like that, where, you know, like, it's so, either way, I don't know if Tons got on this, because we went to open forum while he was away a little bit, of just like, because T was saying, you know, maybe not the death penalty. That guy, if he did this stuff to his friends and drove around for an hour, maybe he deserves to rot for 40 years.
But
and then let me finish.
Okay.
And then it was also kind of like, we need to have where a life in prison is not like a comfortable thing where you got TVs, you know, and like internet and all sorts of stuff. It's supposed to be like hard time. It's supposed to be like Rikers Island. It's supposed to be like what's that one in San Francisco?
I know what you're talking about.
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, yeah.
Yeah, where your ass, like, you're on death row, and that's sort of what I say, is that a death row inmate, it's supposed to be really hard time if we're going to save your life. Otherwise...
Let me say this.
Otherwise, fuck your ass. Like, otherwise, fuck your ass firing squad like they're going to do in Oregon to this guy.
I want to be...
Hopefully they put it on pay-per-view to make some money.
Yeah, I will watch it.
I'll watch that shit. Yeah.
Hey.
I've been saying that.
Yeah.
That would be a big money maker.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because Americans is sick like that. We want to see some shit like that. As much shit as we promote on the internet, gruesome shit on the internet, we'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Let me say this too.
And they give all the money to the victims. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me tie this to the Melly case. What we talking about, y'all?
Put it on like UFC pay-per-view.
Let me say this.
Where it's like I want to see this guy shot to death. Like that's sick as shit. If you want to see that, but like
we want to see
money. Oh yeah, dude, I'm paying for it.
Timo, let me say this. I want to go back. I want to move back real quick in this Melly case. I want to say this.
Okay. All right.
These are the elements that they're using to try to give them death, and y'all got to realize this is very possible, right? Because they played conversations, text messages, audio in the courtroom to the jury with him talking to head gang members, and they're basically trying to recruit him into gangmanship, you know. And all of them are replacing their C's with B's, so they're acting as if they're bloods, right? They're carrying themselves as their bloods, and they're having communication with top-ranked bloods, right? So,
right, okay.
The element of the gang affiliation is one thing they made sure they tried to stick in the jury's head. The second thing was 2 or more bodies, right? And the third thing was premeditation, which if they can make the jury believe any 3 of those scenarios about the money or about the threats to the mom or about him being bullied, that's premeditated, right? You leave the studio, you killed 2 of your friends, you thought about it, you did it, you tried to get away with it, you covered it up. I really believe, and I think everybody missing this because nobody's really talking about this. And I'm going to just stand on this and I'm going to see it. There's a very good chance that this man gets the death penalty. Because I'm watching the case. And
yeah, you sure are.
And I'm watching it every day. And the defense, even though they're good in what they're doing in their strategy, the prosecution evidence is kind of overwhelming their stance to me. They throwing so much stuff out there.
Right, that's because we haven't heard from the defense.
That's true. We haven't.
Yeah,
because we don't know the particulars of the case, and then the clients of the defense could give them insight on particulars of the case, which the particulars may not be mentioned, but then they can convey the message or whatever. So we don't really know.
That's true.
And until that happens, then we can get a kind of complete, understanding of what it is that the defense is saying and what it is that the prosecution is saying. We can't just go off the facts of what the prosecution is saying because we already know from previous
cases
that they come up with premises and different things from various other motives. So we have to see what the defense is saying, and then we can kind of get an idea of where the case is going, the premise of the defense, and the premise of the prosecution.
Hey, Shane.
Yo.
Can I ask you something, man?
Sure.
You said you've been following this case, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you were sitting in the jury box, right, with the other jurors, you've heard all the evidence so far, right?
Well, we can't tell what they heard.
Let me just ask him a question. Hold on.
I know.
I just want to ask you. I just want to ask you what your opinion. Do you think he's guilty?
My honest opinion.
Honest opinion.
I think that it's something missing. I think that if he did kill them, it wasn't what we think it's about. Like shit. Maybe they struggled in the car and he just ended up, getting the. Maybe it was self-defense, but they were scared and just made up a story. I don't know. For some reason, I can't see a nigga just. Like, I would kill you some type of, I wouldn't be around, I wouldn't be right there in the car with you, kid. Why would you try to do that? That could have went left. That was, I don't think nobody in their right mind would say, let me kill these niggas in the same car with them. 2 niggas at that. I got a hard time believing that, bro. I just don't think niggas is like that. Like I think they would sneakily try to do it, you know. Get them niggas together and really do a drive-by on them. Or, I don't know, like, why would you do that, though? Why would you do that because basically what you're doing is giving yourself to him because you're so close to the crime that...
Right. Let me say this. Even if he thought that he wanted to do that, like kill this nigga, he threatened my mother, if that was even true or hearsay,
right?
I mean, it would be a different set of circumstances opposed to the situation that happened at hand. I think the situation that happened at hand was the fact that this particular incident was forced. Like maybe it was someone who was outside of the vehicle who maybe had been talking to the passenger or talking to the person in the rear passenger of the car.
And could have shot in the car.
Got the car, shot inside the car, hit the passenger in the front seat, hit the rear, and tried to shoot the other guys. They got away. And then they caught back up with him. That's what it kind of looks like.
Right.
They caught back up with him. And so the minute that blood stops flowing is what people need to understand. The minute that blood stops flowing, a lot of different things takes place.
Yeah.
So let's say that they're driving and then they caught up with
10 minutes later. 5 minutes later.
10 minutes later.
Yeah.
And shoot the car up and the guys get hit again.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we don't know the particulars of the case.
Damn, Tons, you just put some shit in perspective. Listen, y'all. Think about if that happened and you being a famous rapper, right? First thing you would say is that, bro, let me out, first of all. And you figure out what to do with this shit.
Right.
And
this
now,
was like a crime of, they didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. They didn't have a choice.
And they ain't finna snitch, even if they know who it is. They ain't finna snitch, because that just ain't how it go. So maybe this a motherfucker standing on business. Never know. That's a good possibility.
Or maybe it's actually what the prosecutors say would happen, too.
Could be. Rich, I can't get past the fact that you was decide to, after this random, hold on, listen, after this random 12-hour session that y'all had, and they cut it short. It wasn't planned to cut short. They just, everybody was sleepy and shit. So it wasn't like a planned day. It's just some shit that randomly happened. They were supposed to do 12 hours. That's what they paid for. They end up leaving the studio because everybody was asleep. They say Sack Chaser, the engineer testified, Sack Chaser woke everybody up like, let's go. So they just randomly leave, and in his head, he like, oh yeah, this the perfect time to kill him? I don't know, bro. We been at the studio with cameras. We know it's cameras at the studio. Sack Chaser, one of the niggas that's dead.
Shit, come on, we gotta go. Okay.
The engineer woke everybody up like, come on, bro, y'all niggas sleep. They say he used to be on them, though, like that. Like, y'all niggas bullshitting. In here, sleep high. Come on, let's go. Feel me?
Yeah, we just don't know. We just don't know. That's what we was doing earlier. It's like, there's no way to know.
Did you say, my man was gonna sell the label? They was gonna make some money from it. So.
Yeah, they were gonna sell part of the label and make some money. Yeah.
And divide it up by what, 3 ways?
Well, Melly was gonna get most of the money, and Juvie and Sack Chase was gonna get like $250,000.
So he was the only one that could benefit from them dying, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
But wouldn't he benefit more with the label with dead rappers on it too?
Yeah. If you don't get caught.
More, the circumstances were different.
Right.
Like some guys put some money on their head and he knocked their ass off and get the money.
Yeah, later on down the line.
That don't make sense.
It's like,
don't make sense.
it was so forced, but then
or reality.
See,
like, you know what I mean?
we got to think of reality, and as street guys, we understand that only a nigga that's not in his right mind could do something like that. Like, you not thinking, you haven't thought about anything. You're maybe mentally ill.
How do we know he was in his right mind? You don't know that either. There's a lot of things.
That's why it seemed like it was a sense of urgency. Like they didn't have a choice. Like shit was just popping off, and they had to do what they had to do
at the time.
If it was premeditated, I believe that it would be a totally different set of circumstances.
They wouldn't have their phones on. Why would y'all have y'all phones and did that? Like that's just like
don't make sense.
Don't you like people don't think about like, are you that dumb?
They're not in the streets, so they don't know. So, you know what I'm saying? If you're not in the streets and come from the streets or dealt with any kind of street shit, you're not going to fucking know how they fucking really operate or react to circumstances in the streets. You know what I mean? So it makes sense. And this is why there's hundreds of people in the prison locked up that are innocent.
Yes, but if you also follow the Murdoch case, the guy that's like a very accomplished lawyer, he had his phone on and he just got convicted of killing his son and his wife, white guy, in East Coast. I don't know, North Carolina, South Carolina, something like that. I was watching that trial, so it was like, and he was also so. I don't know. Sometimes some stuff goes down. Like, but I haven't said if we were to take a poll right now.
That's what I want to do to end it. I want to take a poll to end it. So,
then we also have the open forum. But okay.
No, we're gonna end it. We've been on here for a couple hours. We'll get back to it, but I want to take a poll right now. Guilty, not guilty. Timo.
I said I don't know, so
just pick one. What you leaning towards?
I want to see. Okay, well, I said when you were away. I think the forensic evidence. I'm with Letterman. Guilty.
Guilty. Rich.
Guilty. Yeah, you said guilty or not guilty.
But you don't know the.
No, they already talked about the forensic evidence.
They have.
How the shot was. They have.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Okay. So
you said guilty or not guilty. I wanted to stay on the fence.
Right. But if
I'm not on the jury. I say guilty. I say
okay.
Guilty.
You say guilty. Go ahead, Tons. Rebuttal. Go ahead.
If the forensic evidence is correct, that means that a shot was fired inside the car, or maybe potentially a person standing outside the car shooting in the car.
Okay, listen. Let me add that. Hold on, pause.
They didn't have evidence
Wait.
of a window break.
Wait. No, they didn't. No, he's saying if the window was down. But here's the thing. They had trajectories. They made all these. They recreated the angles and everything that they got shot at. But ballistics, and they're saying that the shot came from inside the car. But what Tons is saying is that it could very well, the guy could have had his gun inside the car, cross Melly's face. That's true.
You don't know that.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying he reached? So you're saying if you want to get this guy off, that somebody reached inside the car and shot somebody in the back of the head?
Yeah, because think about this.
Okay, well, Timo, you're a military guy. Okay, imagine this. A vehicle is on the side of the road.
Former.
Okay, former military guy. So a car is parked on the side of the road. A guy approaches the car, okay, on the passenger side. The rear passenger side. The guy recognizes him, rolls down the window. They have a few words. The guy pulls his gun out, shoots the guy in the back of the head, and then the other guy's ducking down, telling him to pull off. He gets hit in the back of the head. He tries to shoot the guy that's next to the passenger, and the driver fails. They get away. So that's not possible. Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, they said that the guy next to the accused got shot to his right. His right.
From his left to his right.
From his left to his right.
Yeah, he
So
did.
you would have to have
From
two
his left to
gunmen.
his right.
You would have to have gunmen.
You
You would have to have some.
Okay, so they said the guy that was next
You
to
would have to have
Henry
two
Chopper got
You would
shot
have-
to his left, right? To the right?
You would have to have
Okay.
somebody. You would have to have somebody get inside the window.
No,
shoot-
listen. Okay, let me finish. Okay, so
You
let's
asked
say
me
the
a
suspect.
question.
Okay, right. Let's say the suspect entered, instead of on the right side of the vehicle, they entered on the left side of the vehicle, right? He tries to shoot the guy that's in the left behind the driver.
The Melly. He tried to shoot
him
Melly.
in the head. The guy, he tries to shoot Anthony Melly. He ducks down. The guy on the passenger side gets hit. Then he's shooting in the car. He hits the guy in the
Passenger.
the passenger front. He tries to shoot the driver, but there's a mechanism, the panel there, and for some reason he gets away. So you're saying that's not possible, right?
No, what I'm saying is.
No, I'm asking, is that possible or not? Yes or no?
What I'm saying is that the person.
Is that possible? Yes or no?
To the
Is it possible?
For me,
is it possible?
yes,
Is it
it's possible. But you would
Okay.
have to have
That's
two
my point.
shooters.
Not necessarily.
You would have to be able to reach in.
No,
shoot,
you don't
and
have to
pull-
reach in. How would you have
Yes.
to reach in? Come on.
Because
You're a military guy.
Because
how would you have to reach in? All you have to do is
I'm
pull
gonna
your gun
explain
out
to you.
and shoot.
I'm gonna explain. to
Shoot
you.
through the window.
The guy ducks
If
down.
the
You would
window's
have
down.
No, you would have to shoot somebody in the back of the head from the back of the car where the window wasn't.
That's what I said.
The rear window wasn't broken, and then the
The
guy.
window was down because he recognized the guy. What if he recognized the guy?
Okay, so he reaches in, he shoots one guy in the back of the head.
The car tried to
And
drive
another-
off. He
and
shoot
then you have
again. It hit
And
the
then you have another shooter that
No,
goes
not another shooter.
Same shooter.
Okay, let me explain it again. Okay, visualize this. Military guy, visualize this. Car pulls over to the left of the street. Suspect walks up to the car, approaches the rear rear seat of the, right behind the driver, was talking to NLE Chopper, right? They had some words exchanged, okay? The guy pulls out a weapon. He fires. NLE Chopper some kind of way didn't get hit. He ducked down.
Melly
The
didn't
other
get hit.
side, on the other, the guy that's sitting in the rear passenger gets hit.
Right.
He's shooting in the car because the guy has pulled off.
Right.
Once you see
I see that.
The driver, once he sees that there's a confrontation transpiring,
He's trying to
guy
pull
pulls
off.
out 20 years of shot. He's punching the gas, getting away.
And he shoot again and shoot the passenger.
So
Yeah.
he's shooting in the car. The guy gets hit in the passenger side, but the driver doesn't get hit.
And then the drivers drive off and they pursue them. They pursue them, catch up with them,
Pursue them, catch up
and
with
shoot
them,
the car up.
shoot the car up,
Then drive off.
The driver still don't get hit. That's not possible, is what you're saying, right?
That's definitely possible.
So you're saying that's not possible? Military guy?
No, it's definitely possible. It's definitely plausible. Like
That's what I'm saying.
if they were on the left, they had to be in the left
Yeah.
side of the car.
Yeah. They came up to Melly's window. They talking to Melly because Melly was on the left. So they talking to
He was
Melly.
on the left.
Melly was sitting in the rear left.
So he shoots he doesn't shoot Nelly.
He tries to shoot Melly, but Melly ducks.
Right. Getting his friend to his right hit.
Right.
For some reason, Melly doesn't get hit.
He shoots again in the car.
And the driver speeds off because he hears the gunfire.
Right, but at the same time,
He's
the
shooting
subject
again.
is firing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. I agree with you then. Okay, yeah.
So wait, right here. So as we all agree on this fact that that's plausible, doesn't that give the defense that much more of a case to prove reasonable doubt in a murder?
Yes.
Because yes, it has to be without a shadow of a doubt. So if you know that that's possible, you can't convict.
Mm-hmm.
You can't convict. You see what I'm saying?
But I think that you need.
I'm not talking about thinking emotionally. I'm talking about thinking militarily.
No.
It's plausible. If it's plausible, then that means that you cannot convict.
That's right, Timo. It's reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt.
I'm thinking that if when the defense, if they actually put this rapper on the stand and say, no, there was actually a guy.
No, he's not going on the stand. They already said that.
They're going to control the narrative.
Then he's going to the death penalty. Like, unless they say, hey, listen, somebody reached in and was able to shoot the front passenger and shoot the guy to your left because you ducked, but you didn't say shit. Like, let me ask you this. I'm just saying, if he doesn't say shit.
Okay, Timo, let me
look, could I do that? Yes.
Okay, how far would you have to reach in for it to be point blank range if you're standing at the fucking window of the car?
But listen, Timo.
But you're saying it's already been.
You wouldn't even have to listen. You wouldn't even have to reach the gun inside.
No.
For them to get flash burns from the gun. You wouldn't even have to reach the gun inside of the vehicle.
No.
Let me ask y'all this.
He got it inside the vehicle.
What caliber was it?
Timo, 40.
Right,
I
we
think
don't
it was,
know that.
I don't even think they know. They think they don't even know. So that means the shell fell outside. So that means it could have been a shooter from outside and the shell fell outside.
That's what
they already said that the gunshots came from inside the car.
No, they said a 40. They said a 40. They said it came from a 40.
The powder burns on the face.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, military guy. If I'm shooting a gun and I'm standing on the rear passenger side, on the left side of the vehicle, I pull my gun out and shoot in the vehicle, there's going to be powder burns. There's going to be powder burns. You can't say that it came from inside of the. You can say that it came if it's convenient to fit your narrative. But if someone was standing outside, there would be powder burns as well. It's the same. You see what I'm saying? So,
well, there would be powder burns on the rapper who's been perhaps false.
Yeah, he had no gunpowder on him. Only people who had gunpowder on it was the driver and the victims.
I thought it was the front passenger and the front and the
back
right
passenger. That's who died. Yeah.
It was not the driver.
Right.
The driver sped away.
Right.
And then there was extra shots.
Right.
And why haven't they recovered? That's what we're going to need to see in this trial. Is were the actual bullet casings that they say after like 15 minutes an hour, what we were listening to for an hour, that came into the vehicle came from the same gun.
I don't think they have them. I don't think they have them.
They have them because they were inside the deceased people.
No, oh, you saying the slugs?
That's easy though. Somebody could be standing outside the car and put powder burns all over that motherfucker.
Hey, you know what though? Let me say this. Hold on, Timo. You made a great point. I want to highlight this. Timo said, if Melly don't get on that fucking stand and plead his
one of the passengers,
somebody tell a story that makes sense to this evidence, I think it's 50-50.
He's going to be another guy that goes down, whether he's innocent or not.
I think it's 50-50. He might just go down and he might be innocent. He might do it.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah, and you'll also be able to prove, because you have the car to show, listen, like in my own car, I'm about to repair like just a window thing, but you would have the ability to see whether, like, what type of rounds penetrated the car
Okay,
into.
we don't know all that. So right now,
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right now, that's why
that's speculative. That's speculative. So as of now, the evidence now, would you be able to convict without a shadow of a doubt that this person is guilty? Yes or no?
No.
Exactly. That's my
Okay,
point.
so wait. So Timo is not guilty. Rich, what you guilty?
No, I said I don't know because I want to see the forensic evidence when they actually examine.
Right.
Well, we heard. We heard. We
No,
heard
like
most.
if you go back to Tupac and Suge, okay, like if you actually can examine the bullet holes in the car and you have forensic experts that say, now the bullet wounds in the two passengers of this car are completely different from what was fired outside, right?
Okay,
they'll be able to. That's why
I don't think they can tell that. I don't think they can tell that.
I think they can because they're getting really good at being able to see.
Okay.
Like,
what if it was the same?
Whether it's a 9mm, a 223, or
Even if it was the same, our scenario still stands. Gunman at the window, fires in the car, chases them down, fires again, drives off.
But they already said that it went through the back of the guy's head through the front windshield.
It did.
Okay.
So
So let's say the passenger of the rear.
So it's not outside the car. It happened inside the car.
Right. So let's say the passenger of the rear ducked down. Let's say the other guy on the other side ducked down. He gets hit in the back of the head because he's ducking down.
And it goes through the front windshield. But it's not what you're saying.
Yeah, because the guy pulls off. He's still shooting. So yeah, of course you're going to have bullets in the rear windshield because the driver is going to try to preserve his life.
There wasn't none. There was none. There was none. It wasn't through the back windshield. That's the problem.
I thought you said it was it's through the driver to the window that was down. Okay, if it comes through the front windshield,
they would have had it. They would have had to have like a reach like me to reach in and shoot.
No, they wouldn't. Okay, listen, Timo. If you're saying that there's impact from the inside of the windshield a bullet goes out, and there's no impact.
It goes
from the
out
rear.
the back. It goes out the back of the front passenger head through the windshield.
Right.
The front windshield.
That dictates the guy that's
different.
Exactly. That dictates the guy that's standing in the rear seat of behind the driver that's shooting in the car, and the driver pulls off, and he's still shooting. So he gets hit in the back of the head and goes out the driver window. That fucking makes sense.
Right, but it doesn't mean that somebody was actually standing outside shooting into the car.
It does.
No, it doesn't, because the rear windshield was not damaged.
Okay, right. So if somebody was sitting in, okay, so you're saying that the guy that's sitting behind the driver was the shooter, is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is that they've alleged that
was the rear driver the shooter? Yes or no?
I can't hear you, Timo.
Was the guy sitting behind the driver?
Can't hear you, Timo.
That he's the shooter.
We can't hear you.
Someone standing outside the rear passenger window is not the shooter. Yes or no?
Timo, unmute. Unmute, Timo. Unmute. Unmute, Timo. Timo, you gotta unmute. He fucked up, bro. Dog, he flying.
So now we're looking at Secret Service training opposed to military training.
Unmute. Unmute. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. All right, sons. We're going to wrap this shit up, man. You want to say any closing arguments?
Well, I think I've said everything that's had to be said. It's very circumstantial. We've put together scenarios that could possibly be plausible.
Mhm.
So have to look to defense and see what route they're going to take and go from there. That's all we can do.
I don't know if y'all got earplugs, but if you tune in, it's a lot of news stations that's covering the trial every day. I want y'all to kind of listen in on your time you got along. Just listen in, because I think this is real big as far as it being the death penalty on the line or walking free. You know what I mean? So just tune in, y'all, and let's keep this conversation. Yes, sir. Yes, because I want to keep this conversation going, though, and let's follow this down to the end and see where we end up with our opinions. Go ahead, D. Letterman.
Yeah, I have to respectfully disagree with that premise. And the whole time I was listening, I was just thinking to myself, not everything is that complicated.
That's true.
Sometimes the simplest explanation
is the answer. Yep.
If you want to say anything's possible, we can sit here and speculate all day on what can happen. But sometimes what the prosecutor says is possible too.
That's true. But you have to
let me ask you this, Rich.
Any other scenario that could have.
But hold on. Let me ask you this.
The prosecutor's
hey, let me ask you one question, Rich. Let me.
It's no other way.
Sons, let me ask Rich this one question, Rich. Listen. Out of all the street niggas you know, goon nigga, remember we went over Cuz' house and nigga kept bumping on the horn? They came out there and whooped dog down the street. You feel me? Out of all the street niggas, gutter niggas, killer niggas that we know, do you know one nigga that would just kill his homeboys in the same car like this scenario? Do you know one nigga like that you think like, yeah, he'll probably do that? Do you know one nigga? Honestly.
I mean, you don't know what anybody is capable of saying.
I'm just saying, I know that, but I didn't, because I'm trying to make a point though.
We're living in the last days, Shane.
So you think? So wait, it's a nigga that you're around right now that you would say that nigga killed me and he my friend, but he'll probably kill me. You wouldn't even be around a nigga like that.
Obviously, that in a perfect world we wouldn't have friends like that, right? But we're seeing things. We turn on the news every day. We're seeing things that we never thought we would see before, because we're living in a different time of day.
That's true.
This is the last days that we're living in, brother.
I get that, but a psychopath is a psychopath, and if that nigga really did this, he probably been killing niggas. Cause don't no nigga just turn to this, bro. You don't get no money and turn to this.
I guarantee you, there have been other cases in history where somebody have killed their friends over greed, or jealousy, or lust, or anything.
Many.
I guarantee you, this wouldn't be the first time.
It's many. You right.
Be the last time.
You right. You right.
You know what I mean?
You right.
Of course.
You right.
But if we're gonna say anything's possible, right?
Anything possible.
You can walk in your bedroom and find your old lady naked, and another guy jump out the covers naked, and it's possible that they didn't fuck.
Right.
It's possible.
But that's the law states.
It's possible.
But the point of them being in there is the fucked up part. It ain't even if they fucked or not. They in there naked.
Right. That's just circumstantial.
Even if he didn't fuck, I'ma think. Even if he didn't fuck, I'ma think. In that scenario, hold on. In that scenario you gave Rich, even if he didn't fuck, I'ma think he was about to fuck. He was gonna fuck. Y'all was naked.
Right.
So he might well fuck.
Right. See, it's all circumstantial. But see, we were
never. But the law states it can't be circumstantial. What you're failing to realize is that the law states it can't be a shadow of a doubt, or maybe this other scenario could have happened. It has to be, this is what happened. This is the way the law states it's written. You see what I'm saying? So if there's a situation that could have occurred that may make the the person that's on trial innocent, we can't convict. This is the fucking premise. This is what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Am I
heard
back?
enough.
Can anybody hear me?
I heard enough. In 1 hour. I heard enough to convince me. This is my opinion. That man is guilty. If I was sitting on the jury, I would convict him. Because I heard enough.
Okay, so
that's
you're saying that if these scenarios that we brought out was possible, you would still convict?
Well, I would tell you like this. I haven't been sitting in that courtroom every day, and I know there's more.
I'm just saying.
There's more
the
to
premises that we, the things that we discussed that could have possibly happened, if that were possible, you still would convict?
Yes.
Okay, this is the problem that we have in society. Because we have a military man on here that's been in the military, and we have another guy who is me, who has been paralegal, and also, other jobs that I have that involved law and things of that nature, that states that there's other things that could have transpired.
And police are humans, and they make mistakes, and they press shit, and they do shit that they're not supposed to do to try to make this shit stick, and we all know that. Police.
Yeah, I know that. Also, there are some good police and good prosecutors trying to do right.
Yeah.
By the victim's family. So we can't.
Right, but if you look at it statistically,
with a broad brush and say
right.
we're racist, we can't say that all the time.
That's
right,
true.
Rich.
That's
we can't
true.
say that all the time.
Okay, okay. Then I have to ask: are you aware of the statistics of guys who were convicted, the guys who were convicted that were innocent?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Crime bill that was passed.
But I'm not gonna sit here and say everybody that has ever been convicted in history is innocent.
Falls under that.
I'm not gonna say.
Right.
I'm
Nobody's
not gonna say
saying
that either.
that. Nobody's saying that. We're talking about the circumstances of this case. We're talking about.
You just asked me a question about the statistics. You just asked me a question about the statistics. If I was aware
and the circumstances of this case, the circumstances of this case warrant that there's other possibilities that could have transpired. So if there's other possibilities, see, when you have a soul like saying that, hey, there's no other way, this guy's guilty, that means that there's no other scenarios that could have happened to make this guy innocent.
Let's say this. Let's say this. Let's end it on this, because the next up is the defense, and let's watch this trial and come back. Let's see what they premise is, what their theory is, and let's come back and let's speak on it. Hey, listen.
Let's do that.
Hey, listen. We live on the motherfucking Shank Show, where we get paper, stay low. Amen. Say, man. We had some fire topics tonight. We had Timo Supreme in the building. We had 41 Shice. We had Shice's wife, Big T. We had the one and only motherfucking D. Letterman, Sick Rick. And we had my big brother, blood brother, 2 motherfucking tons. Nigga, where I learned it all. Him and Big 3. They taught me it all, nigga, so you know what the fuck it is.
Look out for the real.
Hey, listen, look out for the real. And listen, even though we're gonna start getting more consistent, y'all. We're gonna bring y'all some sketch comedy. We're gonna bring y'all some different scenes and shit like that on the Shank Show. So get ready, because it's coming. And every time we go live on the Shank Show, we live on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So go to any of those and tap in, comment in the comment section. We finna get this shit back rolling, man. It's the Shank Show. We get paper, stay low. Hey, I love all y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming. Tune in next time to the Shank Show. Timo, we need you here. Consistent. We need that. We need that, bro. All right. One love, y'all. Love y'all, man.
I love it.
It's always a pleasure being here.
My headphones went out, but yeah.
We appreciate y'all.
All right. Yeah, I'll be here. Or I won't be. You never know.
Ain't no way it's like dog, nigga. Put you in the park.
He on the team now, he gon' have to put that murder down. He wanna be round. Ain't no stretching, ain't no capping. I'm from the deep town. Niggas active, all action, send 100 down.
Timo, see, this is the thing, Timo, what you gotta realize. On the Shank Show, what's this shit though? Because we gotta make sure that it be successful and go where he do. I just had some setbacks, had like 2 surgeries in the last 2 years. I'm trying to get myself back together. And once we get this shit going where it needs to go, Timo, you're gonna be the guy who brings the European American.
I'm not European really, but I'm a white American.
Okay, white American perspective. Because we got to realize that we're very similar in the same, but in certain mindsets and theories, we're different. And you bring a different element to it. You know what I mean?
And the other thing that we need to do, and we can talk off air about this, is like when you let that thing play for like an hour and a half,
the video,
like the audio, the video, man, people were getting bored as shit.
Yeah.
They were. Yeah, you need to assign